Okay, guys, we are live, and for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly dungeon master today. This afternoon, this evening, this morning, wherever this finds you, whenever this finds you. Today, we're carrying on with our quarantine campaign, playing Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition, playing through the 2013 adventure... Legacy of the Crystal Shard, which is going to be a timely adventure nowadays because the recently announced this week that the next major 5th edition campaign is going to be going to the Icewind Dale as well too. So and it's pretty exciting that we're going to be getting some new Icewind Dale content pretty soon. But the players with me today, I am joined by the stars of our quarantine campaign, the stars of the Legacy of the Crystal Shard adventure themselves. Let's go through the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Tell us who you are, who you're playing, and what level are you currently. First up, I've got Andrew.
Hello, I am Andrew. I think I'm still level 3. I'm playing Kola, a dwarven priest of Clangeddon, currently facing a dilemma.
Yes. Yes, he is. Next up is Arlen.
Hi, I'm Arlen. I'm playing Gorwyn, who is a 2nd level elven fighter with an academic background.
Nice. Next up is Mo.
Hi, I'm Morris. I'm playing Thomas Branner, who is a straight fighter.
Do you know what level you are? Do you remember? Are you 5th?
5th.
5th level now. Very nice.
Sure. Arlen, how are you just only 2nd? Okay.
Oh, because I missed a bunch of the sessions where
cool.
you killed a lot of things.
Yeah. Thanks. Next up is John.
Hey everyone, I am John. I'm playing a Falconworld who is still alive, despite all the odds. I am a Ranger Cleric of Solinar, and I am level 4 in both classes.
Mm-hmm. And last but not least is our resident armor smith himself, Dave.
Hey everybody, I'm Dave. I am playing Lex Wiltshire. He is a 4th level Ranger of Myliki.
Nice. So our last session ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, which is, so unusual around these parts. But we had, let's see, what happened last session, guys? We had quite a chatty session after a fairly combat-heavy session on Saturday. Excuse me.
So we had unintentionally split the party because some of us got captured.
Mm-hmm.
So those of us who were still uncaptured were kind of hiding out in the tunnels, and we had Lex sneaking around and figuring out what was going on, and he found out about a dwarven merchant who is not a big fan of the current administration of this side of the valley. So then we sort of tried to sneak off to get there and got the attention of some guards accidentally, and Storr had to kill 1 or 2 of them, and then we had a chase and ran away and all that sort of stuff. But we eventually made contact with Von Bin Ruby Eye, who is a sort of dwarven, like I said, he's a kind of older dwarven merchant who does not deal in the black ice that the new dwarven merchant class is so fond of, and is making all of them money, and he doesn't like Barrick Hammerstone, the leader, and he offered to help kind of fund an attempted regime change, essentially, to get some dwarves and get them some armor and weapons, and have them, I think our plan was to have them make a distraction, and then he would use his secret ways. Especially there was a special priest of the dwarven god of secrets, Adric.
Yes. Although you guys
we haven't actually met Adric.
Yeah.
But I think he talked about, I don't remember if he used his name or not at all, but he talked about a keeper of secrets who we might, based on our player knowledge, we might assume is Adric.
Yeah.
Who was going to be able to get us into like the royal apartments, as it were, and so that we could try to take down Barrick Hammerstone. And then I'll let John tell what Falcaril did last session because he was alone for it.
Oh, there was one other character that you met as well.
Oh yeah, there's his son who we don't like very much, Von Ben's son.
Yeah.
He's a Hammerstone sympathizer.
Yep.
Trayvon.
Hammerstone sympathizer, and no, he's just a bit of a self-righteous douche canoe.
Yeah.
And Storm may have called him out on that right in front of his dad, and
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
and then made some kind of like big display and apology and gave away a sword that he didn't really care about. So
So from your perspective, John, what happened to Falcaril?
Well, aside from being, tortured a little bit and, roughed up, I think we got to the point where he really didn't have anything else to lose. So he spoke with Adric, who was wanting to get information out of him on how we got across the gap. And after sharing that information, Adric revealed that he wasn't really trapped down here. He was just letting them keep him down here. And he freed me and Paldronor, and we managed to get our way out through a very well hidden passageway that not even elves could spot easily. And yeah, we made our way back, and we left a cliffhanger. We're about to knock on the door to be let in. The other parties, I think.
Yeah, and we weren't sure whether it was Adric and Falcaril arriving, or whether it was something else, because
Exactly.
Trayvon definitely left the impression that he was less than thrilled with his father's plan. But let's start our session with returning back to a cliffhanger scene. So we left Cola in a bit of a cliffhanger 2 weeks ago as well, when he had... or was it 2 weeks ago? No, it was last Saturday. Yeah, so last Saturday when he had been defeated or cut down by his uncle and nearly died. He was still recovering from his wounds in bed when he met with his mom. What do you, to refresh our memories, Andrew, what do you remember about the conversation between Cola Hammerstone and his mom?
Dindal. Yeah, so Cola woke up in his childhood home quite a bit confused. And his mother came in and seems to be quite pleased to learn that Cola is still loyal to the family and to her, that her letter worked and brought her son back to her. It seemed very clear that she... Well, and this makes sense, of course, because loyalty to kith and kin and honor come before all else for the dwarves, and so she is very happy to see that this, in her mind, is still true for Cola. She explained to him that what his uncle, what her brother-in-law is trying to do, is to make the family and the dwarves strong. She believes that this black, the crystal shard has made them strong and will continue to build up their legacy. She herself was in fact very ill, so that part of the letter had been true, and that she claims that this shard is what is keeping her alive, it seems. At least she believes that to be the case. And she was also very sweet and softly spoken about the whole damn thing too. So she a little bit of what Cola remembers about his mom is still there, so it's very confusing to him. And then she offered him a choice. A servant produced a box with a ring in which there is a piece of the shard set into, and said without a doubt in her voice at all that Ola should join them and make amends with his uncle, and that together they can accomplish this great task, make the Dwarven Valley great again, and perhaps that Cola would even be in a position to become the heir. Which I don't know if Barrick has his own children or not, but I guess I'm presuming from that he may not, and that Cola could make sure that this lineage continues or something to that effect. But that is the choice before him, and we cut while that conversation was still happening. So I don't know Cola's current circumstances.
Okay. So I think what we're going to do is we will pick up with a scene of Cola kind of shuffling through. He's not dressed in. He's dressed in really like comfortable, clothes that he would wear, around the house. He's got a loose tunic with some embroidery on it. He's got comfortable shoes on, not something that he would take out adventuring. He's got, clean and comfortable trousers on, and we sort of catch him hands behind his back, clearly deep in thought, and making his way around his family home. You can picture that as he's making his way down the hallways here, he's seeing for one, some of the things that are reminders of what life was like. Remember, you come from a fairly modest family. Dwarven, the feeling of dwarves and their legacy is strong, regardless of whatever social status that you fall in, right? Like even if you have a modest home, you still take care of it, and you add to it, to what your ancestors provided for you to inherit. But so you're seeing some of those touchstones, like familiar carvings that were made by long dead ancestors. You're seeing, art pieces or carvings made into the wall depicting, miners and dwarves at work that you passed hundreds of times as a child. But alongside that as well, you're seeing many of the, you're seeing reminders of the trappings of this newfound wealth and power, including, you pass by 2 plate mail armored guards wearing, what do you call it, accoutrements, either like weapons or necklaces of that sinister black ice. Maybe not sinister, but foreboding, I guess, black ice. And that provides a counterpoint. You haven't seen your uncle since your mother left you. When she left you, she still seems to have some, certainly not as, as low in energy and as sickly as what her appearance would suggest. But she's definitely not the same woman. Even setting aside her physical appearance, the level of energy she has is dramatically decreased. And she has that wide-eyed kind of, almost like manic kind of sheen to her eye and her the way she carries herself. She doesn't really seem to listen to whatever you've said. It seems to be she has a conversation going in her mind with you that does not necessarily correspond to what you're saying to her. So, what has Cola, since she's taken her leave of you, you're still quite badly beaten up. You're not dying, but you're still effectively at 1 hit point. What's going through your character's mind here? What's he been thinking since she left?
I think first and foremost, it's a mixture of relief that his mother is alive, because up until he saw her, he had no idea if that was the case or not. Shock at her condition, and to learn how bad, her situation actually is. And then further shock and a great deal of uncertainty about what to make of her apparent kind of view. He remembers his mom as a compassionate, warm-hearted person, but she's also still a dwarf, and like all dwarves, has good stone skin on her and wouldn't take shit from people.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's surprising to him to see her so kind of placated and just almost going through motions. And so that part of that change in her has really kind of shook him to his core.
What's he thinking of what she said about the black ice and what it's brought to your family?
he certainly as well, seeing the evidence of that around the house and seeing this apparent gain in power, physically manifested anyway, seems to verify some of that for him. I'm not sure if he fully believes her claims that the black ice is what is keeping her alive, but I think he believes that she believes that to be the case, and he's not sure if he needs to try to convince her otherwise, and to convince her that there's another way, and that there might be another way to figure out what is actually ailing her and heal her. But then of course, if he's wrong and she's right that the black ice is actually keeping her alive, that has other implications, and so that's weighing on him, because whatever choice he makes here could actually lead to her death. He's thinking that his first and foremost loyalty is still to his family, and in this case he's trying to decide what that means. In this case, does that mean going along with what they're doing? Does that mean doing so, and if he does that, is that to protect his mother, or does it mean finding a way to? I think he's leaning towards he needs to save the honor of his family, because his family's honor is currently jeopardized given the choices his uncle has made, and given the fact that the choices his uncle has made are not even necessarily entirely his own. Thinking here of I forget her name, but the Luskin advisor,
Baka.
That one seems more clear cut to him. Baka needs to go. Whether or not the black ice is a part of this equation, Baka is a foreign influence who has no right or any business interfering with his family or the dwarven people's affairs, period. But I think Kola wants to try to save his family's honor and to save his uncle and his mother's life, because I think he believes that their situation is going to jeopardize their life. So I guess he's just trying to figure out what the best way to do that. Is it to accept the offer and the ring in order to stay close to them and to try to influence them and try to and buy time to find a way to maybe save them and their souls? Or does he reject the offer and very likely end up, a slave in the mines or worse, and have no option to save them? And if he does choose to save them or try to stay close, I think he's trying to weigh what is the strength of his willpower. He doesn't know how long it takes for the ice to have its corrupting influence. Doesn't know if people are able to resist its influence to varying degrees. And so that's a huge gamble. And if he does take that risk, he doesn't know how long he would be able to resist temptation.
So am I correct in thinking then that what he has behind his back is the box that his mother gave him with the ring still in it?
I think I get the sense if what because based on how you started the session, if he's been allowed to, under watch and guard, if he's been allowed to walk the premises of his home, I'm presuming that he could safely leave the ring in his quarters and nobody's going to take it.
Okay.
It's very clear that has been intended for him. And if anyone were to take it, they'd have his mother to deal with. So I think he's probably left it in his room while he's thinking about it.
Okay.
And it's specifically because he doesn't know how that would influence him. So he wants to make sure that his decision is his own. Yeah.
Now, you would also have had an opportunity when she leaves you alone to pray for your daily spells as well too. So
yeah, and I don't know if I'm not assuming our home has a mini household temple to Clangeddon, because I don't know if the whole household.
No, probably. It's probably a Moradin. If anything, there's probably a. Yeah. It seems to my mind that the dwarves in their homes are more concerned about their ancestors than they are necessarily the gods. Right. So there may be incorporated into the because you're from a mining family. To be honest, I hate to keep going back to the Dumathoin well, but it's probably what is who is obviously Moradin and I always forget the name of Moradin's spouse, but the two, like father and mother of the dwarves, they are probably, paid lip service, but Dumathoin is the one who reveals the secrets, beneath. So that may be...
yeah, and then of course, I think obviously for Kola, Clangeddon is still going to be a strong influence. I imagine he's probably going to be deep in prayer to all of those deities and his ancestors. I think he'll probably spend the majority of his day, in fact, reflecting on this in prayer to try to seek guidance from them.
Knowing that he venerates the god of battle, and we've talked about this before, but this is probably what brought you away from your family, is the fact that you venerate Clangeddon or hold Clangeddon over the rest of the pantheon, or at least that you follow him. Knowing your god is a war god, how are you seeing this? How are these prayers taking shape? How are you seeking for direction in the coming battle, or?
Yes, I think for part of it would be that the rites would involve some, obviously by myself, but some sparring. I don't. I know I'm not going to have access to a weapon, but I'm sure that there are some combat maneuvers that would have been associated with rituals and cleansing of self and all this. So he's doing that. He's looking for strength, and he's very much fashioning this as a battle. In his mind, I think it's a battle for his family's honor, a battle for the life of his mother and also his uncle, because I think a part of him understands that his uncle is not who he met yesterday or the other day is not his uncle as he remembers him. And I think so. He's fashioning this all in his brain as a massive battle and struggle to save the lives and souls of his family and the honor of his family. And I think that's what he's praying to Clangeddon for. I think if he's praying to Moradin and Dumathoin, it's to seek a third way and to give him the wisdom to recognize opportunities to guide his family if and when they appear.
Okay. So what I'll say is, again, I'll let you consider what spells that you've prayed for. If you want to cast any healing spells in yourself, no one's going to stop you from doing that. So you can feel free to figure out how much of that you might want to cast on yourself.
In a minute. Yeah.
Okay. So then that gives us a sense of where you are right now. Let's cut to the knock on the door. So Von Ben makes his way to the door. The door opens. You hear some conversation happening in Dwarvish. I think that those Gorwyn, Tom, and Lex, you can overhear this from the study where you guys are working on kind of arming your group. And then Von Ben comes back in. And I think he's been summoned away by the servant, his butler. Didn't we name his butler? Or am I imagining things wrong?
Sir Butler?
His butler named Butler. But what he says, he comes back and he pulls, I think, let's see here, probably, since Stor's not here. Stor's the one who is talking to him the most, I think, and Gorwyn has been sort of out of his depth, it seems, for the first bit of this. Lex has been the one who sought him out at first, right? So he probably pulls Lex aside and says, I've had word from inside the Hall of Black Ice. Your friend, the Hammerstone, the younger one, the priest.
Kola.
He lives.
Kola lives? Where is he?
In his family home.
Oh.
Under the care of his mother.
Oh, that's a relief.
Daendal Hammerstone. He sort of, his eyebrows go up and says, relief, you say. Hammerstone may be the face of that, but Daendal. And Hammerstone may be listening to Baka quite strongly. But I would not underestimate Daendal Hammerstone either. The change that's come over Beric Hammerstone, it appears the same has happened to her.
But Cola's as sturdy as dwarfs come, and he venerates Clangadin, so I'm sure he'll find his way.
Aye, strange that one such as you would pay homage to our gods, but that...
not so much homage as awareness. There are many gods. One must
Now,
be aware.
With our... Do you think your friend can be trusted?
Cola? Absolutely. Without hesitation.
Then I'll leave it to you as to whether, and your friends, as to whether we should get word to him before our effort to unseat Beric Hammerstone.
Absolutely. Cola was with us on this, and he would still be a part. I imagine he rushed forward in the throne room to see his mother, and was struck down by Beric. So while they're kin, I bet you, I bet he understands what needs to be done.
Then,
and one way or another, we need to find a way to get the dwarves united.
I can get word to him then, if you wish.
Absolutely.
Then you talk to your friends, tell us what you wish to have sent to him, and we will see to it that it comes. I expect my ally, the Keeper of Secrets, will be delivering him and your ally to us presently, too.
The Keeper of Secrets? Was it
Dumathoin.
Dumathoin that you'd mentioned?
Aye. And he turns and heads over. So I'll let you talk it over, Lex, with the rest of the guys. What are you guys thinking here?
I go over to Gorwin and Thomas and Store, and let them know that Cole is alive. Apparently he's at his mother's, and I suppose recovering. So
Well, that's good news.
Vonman says he can get a message to Cola before we take action against Beric Hammerstone, if you wish. I think Cola should know if we're going to try something.
That does run the risk somewhat of it being captured, or we don't know if they've used the black eyes to brainwash Cola in some way.
Yeah, that's true. That could
just be
undermine everything.
Giving up our plan. So that previous conversation was all in Dwarvish.
No, in common.
Oh, right.
I don't think Lex speaks.
Yeah.
You can assume you've, unless I say otherwise, you guys can understand. It'll be in common for you, your character's benefits.
Yeah, Tom has been thinking. I mean, we are effectively going to kill a guy who's been taken over by some malign influence. That probably really isn't his fault. So we are being very final here. And
we didn't necessarily plan to kill him. We planned to overthrow him. If we can bear him down or something like that and strip away the black ice, perhaps he's savable.
Well, that's what I'd prefer. I mean, I don't think healing a civil war by effectively running in and executing someone that's going to leave bad feelings on both sides. Even more so if it's outsiders that are doing it.
Well, and every dwarf we kill is one fewer dwarf that can help us against the White Witch.
True.
Plus, it doesn't. We really our kind of part of our core objective has to do with dealing with the underlying causes, right? What brought Beric Hammerstone to power, not just him.
Right.
So we might need him alive to figure out, right? If the black ice is still coming and making all these merchants rich, they're not going to be super interested in giving that up, even if we get rid of Beric himself.
Right. Well, and somebody else could just step into his place.
Yep.
So we need to remove the cause of the disruption with killing as few dwarves as possible.
Well, stepping back a bit, should not we be trying to do that first? if we've got two problems, do we go in and try and sort out a symptom, then go to the main cause, or vice versa?
So let's not lose ourselves too much, guys.
I think we're going with the coup.
Yeah,
do we let Cola
concrete
know?
plans just seem like it's good to be thinking of the bigger picture and the consequences thereof too. But what's not helpful is when it doesn't lead to concrete plans. If it's things that can't lead to tangible action in the immediate future, it's probably something that we could talk about on Discord or something like that. Or once the immediate question before you, is, do you let Cola know? Do you send a message to Cola?
I think we do.
Yeah, if we're voting, I vote for yes.
Yeah.
I abstain. I'm nervous, but I don't really want to impugn our colleague.
Okay.
So I think that's Lex. I think we haven't heard from yet.
No, Lex said yes.
I said yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
what is the message? What's the message you guys are going to send then?
We are going to try and take down Barrick and his advisor. Join us in whatever 2 nights hence or something like that, or whatever we actually planning this happen.
Well, I mean, it is sort of a moving target right now. You expect that, from what they've said, Von Bin's ally, the Blessed of Dumathoin, or the Favorite of Dumathoin, is going to be bringing Falcarel back to you. Though if he and Falcarel and Paldranor suddenly disappear from the dungeons, that's obviously going to trigger some kind of response from them.
Yeah.
So, whether you wish to immediately respond to that by going by triggering your action, or whether you still want to wait until you're actually ready, I'll leave it to you guys to decide. So, what does Von Bin is taking your lead here? He's a merchant. He's not a, he's not a rebel. So, you guys are the ones who have the expertise in that area. What's I guess, are you just telling Cola where to meet up, or to be ready, or are you, because to be clear, Cola is staying at his family estate, which is separate from the halls of Black Ice.
He's probably under some kind of house arrest, so it's not allowed to wander free. So, maybe we can find out, whoever gets the message to him, maybe can bring back whether or not Cola needs to be free to join us, or if that's part of the process.
Yeah.
Or if we just need to know if Cola's free to join us.
So you want to get a response from him then?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
So this message, is this a one-time thing, or can we give him general stuff and try and get something back, and then nearer to the go time we say it's tonight?
So Von Bin says you can do that. We can get, if we can get one message to him, we can get more, but each one has an increased chance of being detected.
Yeah, there's more.
Right. The more we send, the more we make use of these back channels, the more chance there is of them being discovered.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to suggest we wait until we're ready to go, and we send it in the day before, so it's tonight at 9 o'clock.
I say we let Cola know sooner than later.
Okay.
Gorwin, what are you thinking?
In that case, we'd have to set up a time now.
Hold on, Mo. Hold on. Let's let Arlen have his.
I think I trust Cola enough that he's not gonna rat us out and hasn't fallen to the dark ice. That it's and it is his uncle that we're talking about, right? That we need. It seems like it's the right thing to do to give him as much information as we can to let him in on our plan as early as possible, rather than saying, "Hey, tomorrow night we're gonna attack your uncle if you want to come." Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that does mean we're going to have to say when we're going to do it. So presumably, if we get Falcarel back, he's not going to be in good shape because they've been in the dungeons, so they're not exactly 5-star hotels there. So we're going to have to allow for some healing and maybe some recuperation of at least.
Oof! Nor does he have any of his gear or his hawk.
Yeah. Well, we can sort out gear between ourselves and supplies, but
Right,
we can't
because
just
there's
leave
going to be
them
an
and then
abundance of elf-sized armor sets kicking around, right?
I got one in my pack. We'll figure
well, I
that
got
out.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I sold my old chain. Yeah. So
Okay, so let's cut back to. It sounds like you guys are not going to make a decision before the evening. Do you want to send a message to Cola immediately, or do you want to wait until the evening?
I think we send a message to him immediately so he knows he's not alone.
Okay.
He knows that at least that we're doing something.
Okay, and is that
So
really
they know
the?
that we're still alive because he went down before we actually escaped. He may not know that he has allies too.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. So then, what is the message? Is it what does the message say, guys? You can feel free to type out in chat if you like. What just so we're all clear as to what's actually in the message. Okay. Falcor will be cutting to you momentarily as well, too, so you're not...
No worries.
John's had one session of very patiently sitting for 80% of the game. Okay, so Cola, your friends are safe on the side of the valley, on your side of the valley, and planning to take down the cause of the Hammerstone rise to power. Join us if you can. So you guys have a chance to look this over. It's written in common, I take it?
yeah, we don't have any. I probably wouldn't say on your side of the valley because that gives location away.
But if we're on the other
this-
side of the, if we're on that side of the valley, like he's gonna know we're on this side of the valley. We have no way to get across. He has the map.
Well,
It's still a fairly broad location.
okay.
I mean, I'm not there, but just, in terms of its logic, I think.
It doesn't
so-
narrow down even what part of the valley we're in. So I don't see why that's concerned.
On your side, which I would assume means this side rather than the other. I'd probably just leave on your side of the valley out. And also, Tom's going to mention, well, obviously, this is a reassurance. So when we decide when we're going, we're going to have to get him another one. So we're going to have to take that risk.
What, remember as
think
well,
he's-
too,
he's-
it sounds like you guys had planned to have him send a message back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that was a good point. Yeah. Yes, you can reply to this message.
Yeah.
What do we want?
a bit
What
of
do we
a-
want Cola to specifically say? I think we need to ask him. What
Are you
we
with us?
from him.
How he is, what's his situation, because we don't know. Is he in his house? Is he locked in the room? Is he on parole?
This is how conversation
I think
works.
he needs.
We say, join us if you can, and Cola can provide us with whatever information he wants
Yeah.
to provide. We don't have to ask him a pile of questions. It's not an interrogation.
Yeah, I think we'll have to let him, because he knows the situation and he can let us know what we need to know.
Okay. So what is the final message going to look like, guys? Is it Cola,
I
your
think that
friends?
on, but with removing the after
Why don't-
save comma remove on your side of the valley.
I have no idea why you want me to remove that. It makes no sense.
Well, if they're searching for us,
They know we're here. We
know
just killed two dwarves.
well, do they know we're still here? Okay.
How did
well,
we?
Well, we can't leave.
We have
right?
have
That's
no
the
way to
thing.
leave.
We don't
so
have the map. It's either we died in the frost, or we got stuck in the tunnels, or we're over here.
and today we killed two dwarves. So whether or not, if they catch this message, it's obvious that we're on this side of the valley because we just killed two guys. So I don't
Okay.
think there's any reason to take it out. Not to get upset, but
Okay. Gorwin's
just
going
not-
to suggest that we add "please reply" to the end of the message to make it clear that.
okay.
RSVP. All right. So the message will go out. So What we'll cut to is Cola returning to your chambers. And so
I
you...
mean, whatever you want, but I thought Felcro, you had said he's up next.
I just... There's something I want to wait for pacing. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Sorry.
we get back to... we see Cola return back to his quarters. You can see, there's the familiarity of your old, the place that you grew up, your bed that you know quite well, every bit of carving in the side of the wall that was, that you were aware of, some of the carvings that you made, to add to the family home. The thing that really stands out, obviously, and that draws your eye is that box, with the ring in it. So you get back and you're just...
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I think you've returned from your prayers. You returned from sort of making your way around the home. The only thing that really, and this is, you're the place where you can be free of the two guards who keep following you around everywhere. However, as you get over to your little, there's probably a study, like a desk or something in here as well, or like a drawer or dresser or something like that. And what you can see is that tucked under one corner of the box, there is a little slip of paper sticking out.
I'll take it.
And what you sort of look around, and unfolding it, what you can see is that message that your friend sent to you. And what the message says is what is also written on the outside of this is reply on the inverse and leave in the same location. So you open this up and you read this. Now, is it news to you that your friends are alive still?
I would think so, because I was unconscious and I was also, even before that happened, I was completely cut off from everybody, and there was like 60 full-plated floors between me and them. So short of seeing like Lex and Gorwin's head popping up above the rest of them, I don't think I would have. And I was also kind of distracted at the time. So I think Kola, up until this moment, has just assumed that his compatriots may be dead or captured. I don't think he assumes any of them are alive.
Okay.
Wow. So I'll look around the room, make sure the guards are in fact outside.
Yep.
And don't worry, I'm not going to belabor this. There's a part of me that isn't entirely sure if this is another trick, or if this is legitimate. Especially given its placement underneath this chest. I mean, I don't know if the person was deliberately trying to, but I can't imagine my mother would do that and try to further conflate and confuse this.
Now, you guys didn't have servants when you were growing up here, because you're just not, you were working class, not, incredibly wealthy. But this is one of the other changes you've seen, is that there are servants now mulling around, and they're quite good at disappearing into the furniture, as it were. So who knows who's been in here.
Right. Okay. I think Kola will also take a couple minutes. So by the way, I'm gonna do both a cure light and cure moderate on myself.
Okay.
I have one each as well. Like I have two of each prepared for the day, so I'll cast half my magic.
Yeah, go ahead. So it's 1d8 for the cure light and 2d4 plus 3 for the cure moderate.
Yeah. The cure light.
Nice.
That's nice. And 2d4 plus 3 for the 2d4 plus 3.
So 8. Okay. So 13 in total.
All right. That's a little bit more comfort.
Yeah. Yeah, a little more cushion if someone takes an axe to your head. All right.
Okay. I'll respond. It's going to be very short and to the point. Well, I'm going to respond. I don't know if we need to have this. If you
Yep,
guys,
just go ahead and type out
move, I can
whatever your
write this
response
while you
is.
move
Go ahead and
on.
type that in.
Was there a mention of join us if you can? Right.
Yeah, so whatever is in the note, that's the extent. You're going to kind of have to put your, put a wall up between what you're, as the player and the character and what the intentions of the party are, and try and just judge your response based on what's actually in the note. And while you're doing that too, we will now cut back to that cart coming rolling up that Adric was leading, and that had Falcarel hidden in the back. He hops off. Obviously underground, there's not really, you can't tell a difference between night and day in here, but he hops up and kind of, makes sure that the gate is closed. He hits the top of the tarpaulin draped over the back of the cart and says, "We're here. Come on, elf."
You hear like the small snort of surprise as Valkyrie jerks to consciousness and looks around, forgetting where he is for a moment, and then, oh right, Paltrador, wake up!
Okay.
Try to gingerly get out of the cart.
So the two of you kind of get out of the cart. Paltrador is having a little bit of, obviously, with what he's been through, he's having some difficulty moving freely. You're likewise, you've been subject to pretty horrific torture for the last couple of days, or last day or so. So you both help each other out of the cart. You make your way up. Adric knocks on the door. Actually, I think he's going to go around his side. Obviously, he's got it, as a follower of Dimithoin, he actually brings you in a different entrance. The door that we saw, we saw him knock on, we now realize it's a separate door. It's like a servant's entrance. So he makes his way in. I think Gorwyn, Tom, and Lex, you guys are talking to the 20 dwarves that have been hired to help with you to try and, work out what the final plan is. You've got some... talking about there was the plan of the distraction in the barracks, as well as a assault on Hammerstone's actual quarters in the Hall of Black Ice, and you see kind of there's a little bit of hubbub, and you turn around and see Adric, Falcarel, and Paldronor walk into the room, and Falcarel and Adric look like they have been really, really worked over.
Falcarel, did you go up for air topside? No. Lex gives him a pat on the shoulder. Good to have you back.
Valkyrie kind of flinches a bit because he's almost one big bruise all the way across.
Ooh, yeah, maybe not a big pat. He goes to pat you, and then he's like, maybe not.
It was not the best vacation.
He's got a soiled cloak or blanket or something over his shoulders, but otherwise he's bare from the waist up, and you can see there's really horrific brands and lacerations, contusions all across his body.
Paldronor doesn't look much better.
No. You see also a dwarf that you're not familiar with, but Von Bin seemed to come towards him, and he reacts the way that someone would, to a member of the priesthood. And Adric, they say something or exchange words in Dwarvish, and then Von Bin insists that water and such is brought for you guys. So they're going to bring some stuff to let you clean up. We'll assume that in the course of settling in, you, Gorwyn, Tom, and Lex, you're introduced to Adric. Adric is obviously the priest of Dumathoin that that Von Bin has been talking about, and you also, Falcarel, are brought up to speed as to what's been planned, and how they're planning on striking back at the enemy.
Falcarel's actually pleased to hear that Cole is still alive.
Okay.
Yeah, we sent word to him. We're waiting to hear back.
Okay. So, and it's not long after, it's while Falcarel and whatnot are being are cleaning up and kind of getting themselves ready, or getting themselves, into clean clothes and such, Falcarel's got like comically undersized clothes on him because they're way too baggy in the shoulders and they're way too short in the legs and the arms because he's wearing dwarven clothes. They're going to try and get you something that fits more appropriately, but for now, at least it's something that's got you out of those torn and soiled, clothes that you were in before. It's around then was when you have your note from Cola read, and in the film version of this, what would happen is you'd unroll it and you'd hear Cola's voiceover in his own voice. So, Andrew, why don't you read out your note to us?
Oh, this is fancy magic right here. Friends, I thank Moradin for such good tidings. I am with you, but it is unclear if I can join right now. For many eyes and danger abounds. Please mind that I now bear a weight I do not understand. Will explain later. Send instructions, if able.
Okay. So, having had a chance to get some food, to have your wounds, at least the immediate wounds, tended, Falcarel, and for the rest of you guys having received Cola's note, what's the plan here? How do we want to affect this assault on the Hammerstones in the Hall of Black Ice? How do you want to incorporate Cola, if so, and when do you want to spring all of this into motion? Obviously, the longer that things go, the longer that you wait, the more likely your chance of discovery.
Yep.
What do you think, guys?
Let's try and get Falcarel healed up and Thomas, and we should probably do this sooner than later. We've got all these dwarves; they're already armed up.
Falcarel will stay with some rest. I might be able to recuperate some spells, but I fear that all that'll do is just get me ready to take place in a battle I'm not equipped for. But I can definitely take care of Tom and Lex at this point.
Well, I can give you my bow. We don't have store, so we'll need someone to fight at the front. And while I'm not as good a fighter as Store or Tom,
Yeah, I think that's me. Do we still have Alehead? Because there were some spare weapons and stuff on there. I think we sold all those other longswords, didn't we? The silvered longswords. So did we keep them with us?
Those are all gone. No, you didn't keep them.
We sold them, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got my backup weapon. We sold the
does
armor.
anybody have any? Does anybody have anything that they can spare? I can give my bow.
So I have a bow and a sword, and I'm happy to give one of them. And then arrows for the bow.
Yeah.
How are you at standing in the front line, Gorwin? We haven't seen that much. You've been a bit of both.
Well, I
So Tom is the part of the shield wall. We can assume that.
Yeah.
If there needs to be.
I've just checked my notes. I've got a non-silvered longsword, and I also have a bastard sword that we bought, which I haven't actually started using yet. But for people who need to shoot, they could maybe use my short bow, because I'm not the best archer in the group.
What do you use, Falcarel, normally?
I'm proficient with short bow and longbow, but I'm specialized in the longbow.
Ah, okay. Well,
Okay.
it's not ideal. We're not going to really be able to find a human-sized longbow, I think, easily.
I wonder if Adric could reclaim my gear before they notice we're gone. He's sneaky. Or at least some of it.
No, he's not omniscient, so he doesn't know where that stuff is. If it's still, I think he mentioned that last time that he doesn't know.
Yeah.
You know.
So, Gorwin, you have a longbow? I have
a
composite.
longbow.
I have a composite longbow. But I also have way more hit points than you. So,
And these are dwarves that are in plate mail, so
Well, and that's just it, though. We don't want to be fighting them. We don't want to have to carve our way through to Barrack Hammerstone. If we got to kill somebody, we got to kill somebody. But, like, dwarves are short, they're slow. We should be skirting around them, moving quickly, get to Barrack, take them down.
Yeah, I thought that was a good idea, and then it didn't work out well for me.
Very true. So watch out for, was it archers? Crossbows?
Yeah, crossbows.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're not
we're-
attacking him in the throne room surrounded by 60 guys, because we know how well that goes.
Yeah. I think the idea was we're going to use our dwarven troops to like draw off most of the guards and try and sneak in the back way. So hopefully it may just be him
So
and maybe a few.
let's just, guys,
select.
let's remember that idea of them just drawing off everybody was shot down last time because they're not going to act as cannon fodder. They've said they're happy to try and help with that, but they're not going to just die to help you guys out. They're being
Yeah, so I think what we specifically said was we want them to create a distraction, but to get out of there as soon as they've done that.
Yeah.
To drain the
Rather
barracks, I
than
think was
start a
exactly...
big fight and draw all the guards into one place.
How many of the these guys? I guess first off, does anyone want to lead these guys down there? And secondly, does anyone wish to take them with them to whatever else you're planning on going? Whether it's to Hammerstone's quarters to try and find Bacca. You want to take them with you?
Yeah. Okay, I was going to suggest that maybe we split the troops into two halves. We had 20, so I think 10 of them try and make a distraction and then run away and hide, effectively. And we have 10 of them with us in the...
So guys, I'll be right back. Just 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll suggest we have like some of them with us, half maybe, as to act as extra muscle for the sneaking in part. Because even if they can like fend off
a couple of bodyguards,
other guards, we can then take down the main leader and say, right, it's all over, and put a dagger to this thing, and then that's over. But they could act as like almost a shield or flanking, or if we see some archers, they can go away and deal with them. Because you don't need a huge amount of people to make the distraction. We just need the ones that are maybe in lighter armor, so they can run or move a bit faster.
Well, they're all in light armor. They're
I thought that some of them were in.
and it doesn't necessarily make them move faster.
No, true.
And they don't move
wrong
super
system.
fast.
But yeah, we should have some act to draw everyone hopefully away, and then have some of them with us.
So what do we actually want the distraction to consist of, I guess, is sort of my question. Because it's one thing to say make a distraction, but we don't have like gunpowder to set off an explosion or something like that. And this is all made out of stone, so it's not like we can fire a building or something.
Yeah.
You got somebody who could blow up some rocks. Not with you right now.
Yeah, maybe we could get them to stage a demonstration.
Sorry about that.
Why don't we just bring all 20 with us? And we'll sneak all the way in, and if we encounter something down there, which we certainly are, Barrack's not going to be by himself, then those guys just help hold people off and fight for the dwarven community.
Okay, so they hold off maybe us, and we go in for the top man and try and take him out.
Yeah, like
and say, right,
we don't know what we're going to
we
encounter.
capture him, and then
we don't know what we're going to encounter, but if he's not going to be by himself, so we'll take all 20 doors with us. We'll sneak in through the back way. We'll try to get to Barrack. There's bound to be some kind of scuffle. The dwarves will help us in whatever way we order them to, as long as we don't order them to their deaths. Let's use them as sparingly as possible.
So how are we going to maybe hook up with Cola in this way? Do maybe we send one of us with some of the dwarves, try and get Cola out a bit earlier, and then is there a way we could get Cola from his house into the tunnels and meet up with us, or we'd have to ask...
I don't know the path, so we'd have to find out about the path to get that we're going to take.
Yeah, we'd have to ask Adric about that.
But heck, that could be our distraction.
So
breaking Cola out could be a distraction.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Arlen.
that's a good idea, actually.
Hold on, guys. Arlen, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to suggest if we want Cola there, if we know about the time that it's going to happen, we could just have him request some sort of audience with Barrick to, swear his fealty or something like that. And he might not have his armor and weapons, but he'd at least be there.
Oh, I've got the way to give myself some AC regardless.
Yeah. Tom think that's all very well, but if it's set up for a formal, I renounce those evil dwarves on the other side, that's going to be a staged public occasion. There's going to be a lot of people around like the last time, and that didn't end well.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well then,
if
it's possible,
your long lost
cousin
cousin
is that to say like, I'd really like to speak to my uncle to make amends in his personal chambers or something like that. I'm wondering if there's a way to communicate to Kola to do that so that he'd at least be there to help us and take part in whatever we actually do.
And barring that, we're going to break him out of his mom's house.
Well, I like the idea of a personal audience with his uncle.
Okay. So we're going to keep the dwarves with us. We're going to
Yep.
make our way down and try and interrupt this private audience. That's our plan.
Okay. So, what is the message you or the note that you send back to Kola then?
Okay. Let's see here.
So we need to decide on the specific time that we're going to go, and it seems like the biggest thing for that is deciding how much kind of healing and rest and recuperation we need to do before we go.
How many days have we already had, by the way?
What do you mean?
Because this isn't the same day anymore, is it?
No. You guys have this is it has been 2 days since you guys attacked Hammerstone. No, it's been more than that. It's been 5 days now.
Yeah, because Lex did some reconnaissance and stuff. This has only been the next day after we've gone to Von Bin, though, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to suggest we say tomorrow evening at, some mid-evening time.
How is Adric available so we could find out how quickly we can get in? Like if they have a path to get us in somewhere. How long will it take us? Just hours?
We will to get in. What Adric will tell you is that it takes from here to go through all the things. Assume that you need an hour of travel time.
Okay.
To get yourself
he doesn't
to where
need to make any sort of like long-term preparations or anything.
No, and also be aware that once this secret is revealed, it's unlikely that it will be hidden. This is a one-time thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so our note to Kola. What do you guys want to say? Good to hear from you.
So
we think you should set up a private meeting with your uncle to I don't know, pretend to swear fealty. We shall arrive with help to take him and the Luskin bitch. That's for you, Store.
It's for Store. That's great.
Lex is like, we gotta call her a Luskin bitch. That's what Store would say.
Luskin whore.
So, how does it sound? Good to hear from you. We think you should set up a private meeting with your uncle to pretend to swear fealty. We shall arrive with help to take him and the Luskin bitch down alive, with minimal dwarven losses, and restore order in the valley.
Now, all of you guys are not going to let me get away with not making a choice about this ring, are you?
That's part of role playing, my friend.
Oh yeah.
So we're really getting
not a
Kola to suggest the time. Then
Yeah, we need to suggest this.
Yes,
so
actually.
we've got to have another.
Okay.
At
So
the table talking, please be very specific as to the time.
We
Yeah,
can
we're coming to
be
rescue you sometime.
ready to assemble. We can be ready to assemble tomorrow.
I think tomorrow's the earliest. That'll give us another.
Valkyrie, how much healing do you have? And is there any way to...
That depends. If I don't think I was able to rest to get spells, so I'm gonna have to rest to get spells.
Yeah.
Okay, so in 2 days. He's going to
Within
need
2 days.
between you and Palginor and Tom and
So-
Lex.
Yeah.
It would be the 14th of Marpanoth.
I don't even know. Do you get enough spells to heal all of us? Like, Lex is down 30 points.
I get 4 first level spells that I can do cures, and 3 second level spells I can do cure spells with.
You guys can
So-
assume if you are waiting 2 days, you'll have tonight and tomorrow's rest, and you guys will be under the care of a healer. So you will heal 3 hit points per night instead of 1. I know that's not a huge amount, but it's more than 1.
Well,
So-
Valkyrie's down 41 points, Lex down 30, and Tom's down 27.
Yeah. Well,
If-
I've just done a quick calculation. I'll get 8 back naturally because it's been 5 days and then 2 more. So that's.
No, you guys have not.
Are we overthinking this and just say we wait till we're all fully healed and not spend?
No, I don't think
Half
we
an
can
hour.
wait that long is the problem, right? The
Okay.
longer that we wait, the more likely that the plot's discovered.
The other thing is that you're healing from what you've got right now going forward. You've not had an opportunity to heal the last little while. You have not been sleeping in a comfortable bed. You've not been sleeping in a place where you need. You guys have been treading water as far as your injuries have concerned, except for Cola. Cola's been enjoying the comforts of hearth and home.
So I think
Right.
that was actually going to be my question. Could I, if we're going to be waiting a day, I could rest and I would repick my spells. Would I be
So
able-
this is sort of
other than, like,
happening.
multiple
Yeah,
minutes?
Cola, you would have had about 4 days of time that's going to have passed because your scene with your mom would have happened right after the fight. Right. So this would have been, it's going to be 7 days, like a week since the fight, with the initial assault, by the time you guys actually,
And it's,
try and go in. So you can fill in what your character, you can assume that between your spells and natural healing, you'll be up to full.
oh, okay. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense because I can
Yeah.
just recharge my spells every day and heal myself every day.
Yeah. What do you think you would have been? You don't need to answer this too, but like once you figure out what Cola's response is going to be to this message, we still don't have it yet. Once you receive the note and you decide what you're going to do, this would have been also after about 4 days when you received the first of those notes.
Okay, so 4 days between these notes, and that first note arrived.
First note arrived about 4 days after your fight with Hammerstone.
Okay, so it's been essentially a week in
Yeah.
total since the battle.
We used all our healing potions, right?
I think we've used everything healing potion wise. Yeah.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
Palginor and Alehead were poisoned.
Okay, so give me a D6 roll. Somebody, whatever the 1st one is, I'll
Lex,
see it.
because you're typing out our message. I'll do the D6.
2.
Oh.
So Von Bin will be able to secure 2 more alchemical healing potions for you.
Okay.
I suggest we take those with us as on-the-spot healings.
I think in the meantime, I think part of what Cola would have done, the arrival of the note was very timely because he was very conscious that he does not have a lot of time to make this decision. His uncle's going to only give his mother so much patience.
Yeah.
And I think Cola understands that it's his mother's public figure. Like, Barrack can't just kill Daendal and get for no reason and get away with that. And so I think it's his mother's status that is buying him whatever time he has, but he understands that that's going to be limited. So I think by the time he received the note, he had already been trying to. I think one thing he's trying to look at is watching soldiers who he knows are bearing symbols of the shard. Does he ever see them? Does he ever see them put those objects down and physically separate themselves from those objects?
I mean, they're on their, they're
They
not.
have the ability to do
They're
that
on their
consciously.
belts at times. Hammerstone's not wearing his armor 24/7, but they seem to be around most of the time.
Okay. So he doesn't have a strong sense of whether or not you can just choose to remove it at will. So he's taking that into consideration.
Can you think of a way you might test that in the like? We'll assume that there's a bit of a montage that's happened over the 4 days when you did not know whether your friends were alive or dead or what your situation was and how to decide about that. Can you think of a way that you may have tested that?
One thought, other than the obvious way of testing it, of trying to put the ring on, but
Yep.
you know, I think he may have over the course of meals with his mother or conversations with his mother, if he could have gotten her alone at some point or even close to it, he may have asked, "May I see the amulet? May I look at it?" To see if she would be willing and able to remove it herself.
So what she tells you is that the amulet is what keeps her breathing.
Okay.
So Barrick has or not even Barrick has told her, she's certain that the reason she's still alive is because of this, and if she fears that you can certainly examine it, but to take it off and to give it to you.
Right. So the way to test this would still involve me making the contact with it and hoping that I could remove my hand.
So the thing is, it is a good
What about
thought though,
servants?
because you have there are see, the difficulty is everyone who's got a black ice object in your home has a secondary reason to give a reason why they wouldn't let you hold it. Right, like
Right.
The guards, like they're
leave
also
the
gonna say
home.
like, "Fuck you! You're not gonna get. No, I'm not handing you my axe." You know, and that might be because it's got sway over them, or it might be because you're a prisoner. Like you're not getting an axe.
Yeah. I'm wondering if I could even if I could find a servant while carrying the box around.
Yep.
Could I? I don't know what excuse I could come up with. Maybe it's dirty or something. Could I get the servant to physically touch it and to hand it back?
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Because if they are able to hold it for a period of time,
Like how long?
and then and then hand it, like maybe 5-10 minutes, have a conversation with them, and if they're able to, if I tell them give it back to me, and they're able to drop it back inside the box without hesitation, that tells me something about what I'd like to know. Or if
Sure.
they struggle, then it also tells me something.
Sure. So why don't you give me a wisdom check, please?
Can do.
So you can't roll that directly on the sheet, obviously. It's just you need to
Oh, right.
yeah,
Right.
to roll,
Okay.
and whatever your wisdom is, you want to roll that or less on a d20. And higher is better. The higher the result, the
I have a wisdom of 18.
18. Nice. Okay, great. So what do you see is it's one of the maybe one of the female servants who is bringing fresh linen in or something like that. And what do you say to her to to convince her to try and take this thing for a time?
So curious. So much fuss made over such a small little trinket. And I'll
And
hold it up in the box.
Okay. She looks at you. Sorry, fuss master. Has there been fuss over your mother's present?
Oh no, not this particularly. It's a very generous gift, don't you think?
Indeed. Your mother is most kind.
She is. Tell me, have you ever seen anything quite like it? And I hand the box out to her.
Okay. Oh, such a thing is far grander than anything I've seen, sir. And she sort of, just gingerly sort of takes the box.
It's a grand thing. How would I? It seems to me that it has a unique sparkle in the stone. Take a look. Take a look for yourself. Do
She
you see that?
takes it and looks at it. I see only
I'll
blackness.
try to take the box from her, so she has to. Like, I'm not letting go of the box.
Yeah.
So she takes it. She has to take the ring itself.
Yeah, so she gingerly kind of takes the ring out, and she says, I see nothing, sir. I see nothing but blackness in here. Endless...
Well, maybe you have to be wearing it. I don't know. It's an odd little thing. It's fascinating.
Why, I could not, sir.
Oh, of course you can. You have my permission as a lord of this house.
So she places it on her finger, and she's looking deep in it. And she says, no, sir. And you can see that as she's looking at this thing, the pupils seem to get very, very slowly larger and larger. And she says,
Like a
oh,
cat
sir.
finding a prey.
Or like someone seeing something that just they find pleasing or enrapturing. And she's looking at this and keeps repeating, there's nothing but darkness, sir. No facets, though the beauty. Such beauty. And you're watching this happen, and you can see that the pupils have dilated to the point where her eyes, the iris, almost completely disappears. And it's as if her eyes have, apart from the whites, have gone completely black.
Yes, well, I think that's enough. That confirms for me. I share your admiration for it. Why don't you have it back now?
And when you say that, she sort of, double blinks and looks up, and the eyes, sort of get back to normal. She says, "Of course, sir." And you can see her hands are trembling as she takes the ring off, and, hand trembling, places it back in the box for you. You can hear it kind of rattling a little bit, and then she drops it as it sort of falls into place into the cradle.
She's got a total Bilbo Baggins thing going on here.
A little bit. She's definitely. It's had. You would guess that it has had some kind of effect on her. And she says,
It's pretty quick too.
So she sort of shakes a little bit. And she says, "Sorry, sir. Sorry."
Oh, you've nothing to apologize for. I thank you for sharing this with me. I was thinking I took a bump on the head and I was seeing things. It's good to know I'm
And she she kind of pulls in her robe, she's got a dress on, and then she's got a slight robe over it. She sort of pulls it in as if she was trying to guard herself against a chill. And she says, I will take my leave of you, master. And collects the older linen and then heads out. And it's new for you to have servants, but she definitely does seem to be in a bit more of a hurried rush than what you've seen them in the past. They move at a pace around here so as to not draw attention. She does seem to be in a bit of a rush as she leaves and closes the door behind you.
If you require me to do some sort of insight check, that's fine. But do I get the sense that this is like she's just kind of, this is not a normal interaction she'd be used to in
Definitely.
terms of her lord, or is she just shaken by the ring?
It's definitely what you know is that this is not what you've experienced thus far with these servants.
Sure.
She seems in a bit of a rush to get away from you. So. Okay.
Cool.
So let's see here. A few more days pass from this. I'm assuming you're not putting the ring on during that time. Is that?
I'm still trying to decide when do I, and then another 4 days will go by before I receive this other letter, right?
It will be. So this would have all happened before you received the first note. The first note would have come after about 4 or 5 days. And then it would have been another day when you're going to receive this second note.
I think after she leaves, I might wait till like the next morning or something. But I don't want to role play the whole thing out, but I'll try to do a progression unless it triggers something. I'll wait a few hours and I'll sit there smoking my pipe or whatever, and then I'll try to just without looking at it, because that seemed to be also part of the trigger. I'm experimenting. I'm going to try to look away from it, and a gloved hand, just put a finger on the ring, not the stone, but just the ring.
Okay.
And just hold it there for a second or two.
Okay. And you're smoking your pipe while you're doing so?
With the other hand, yes.
Okay. So you're smoking your pipe, you put your gloved hand on it, and I'm thinking that like many pipe smokers, you find it to be quite a, almost like, relaxing or zen, kind of inducing thing. You're puffing away, and you sort of lose yourself in the, in the thought of smoking or the act of smoking, and you double blink when you realize that what you've done is you've touched the top of it, and you've actually brought your hands down, and you're beginning to like grasp the ring as if you're going to pick it up. And it's at that moment that you realize, like, that was not an intentional act on your part. You did not consciously do that. So you pull your hand away.
Okay. Okay. That's what that'll be the extent of my. I might try that a couple more times, but just a very hesitant. I don't know. No, I think I'll leave it at that. That'll be my experimentation. So I think I've got enough to know.
You know what you find as well too is there is another point in say like a day before you get, or maybe the day before you get the note from the other guys, where you catch that servant. You walk in and you find the servant who's changing your linen again too. She's standing before the open box and just looking at the ring. And as soon as you come in, she hurriedly, closes it. It's still in there. She hasn't taken it or anything, but you caught her just looking at it.
I see.
She makes up some kind of excuse as to why she doesn't, why she was looking at it. If you bring it to her attention, otherwise she doesn't bring it up. She just grabs your linen and then heads out.
I'm gonna let her just go.
Okay.
I think observing that is enough information.
Okay. So then you've received the first note, you sent the second note, and then the third note here reads, Dave, why don't you read us out in Lex's voice? What does this note say now?
It says, good to hear from you. We think you should set up a private meeting with your uncle to pretend to swear fealty. We shall arrive with help to take him and the Luskan bitch down alive with minimal dwarven losses and restore order to the valley. We can be ready to assemble in 2 days. If you're not able to arrange a meeting, we'll break you out of the house and proceed to barrack.
So this was left in the same place you found. Actually, I think this one you find in your trousers. So when you get up one morning, you get yourself ready and you find this in a pocket. And it's short.
Words with these servants.
It's shortly.
One suggestion before we. Presumably that note said, if you can't arrange the meeting with your uncle, we will.
Let's not presume. The note says what it says.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. You had lots of opportunity to try and amend that, but so what happens shortly after you've read this thing, Cola? Whatever your mind is doing, you hear your door open to your chamber again, and I'm guessing you quickly secret this note away, and what you see there is your mother. And once again, you're getting more used to what she looks like now, but it's still, the frailty in her form, the sunken, sockets of her eyes. And she says, Cola, my dear.
Hello, Mother.
Have you time for a walk, then?
Mother, of course. I would enjoy a walk. I've spent years and years away from you. Everything else aside, I am elated to be able to once again share your company. Brings me comfort.
And come with me, will you? And so you follow her, and she actually takes you outside. You guys are going to go for a small stroll in, kind of the old neighborhood, as it were, the part of the underground community where you grew up. And she doesn't say much unless you bring up anything. She doesn't say much for the first bit of the conversation, but once you're a little ways from the house, and you have those two guards following behind you as well, she says, "How has it been then, Cola, to be back home again?"
I've found the entire experience to be complicated, Mother.
Why is it complicated, boy? Have you been gone so long that you forgot what your loyalty is to? A dwarf puts kin before all else.
Aye, mother. That's not the problem for me. I think part of it is I have been gone for too long, and I think I'm realizing that I was wrong to be gone for so long. I feel like I regret that. I feel like it was a mistake to... I understand that we had our differences about my choice to join the cloth and to worship Clangeddon as a priority. But I'm beginning to wonder if maybe I was a rash, brazen and willful child. I'm older now and I've experienced a lot. I think where all my travels, for all they've brought me experiences, for all that, they've brought me back here after all. To be here with you, to be with my family, and to be back in my home. At the same time, though, Mother, our home, and not just our house, you understand, but I mean our home, the valley. It does pain me to see our people so torn over things that I don't completely understand.
Boy, there's nothing so complex that you can't understand it. You've just let the world confuse you. The silver streams are weak. They have let the dwarves of the valley grow weak too. You have been brought back, but you have been brought back with a clear destiny, boy. Your uncle, he may have opened the door and started us on the right path to power and glory again. A dwarven kingdom to rival that of Mithril Hall itself and the fallen kingdoms of old. He started this journey, but don't you see, Kola? With your return, it's the gods saying that you should lead. Your uncle, bless him, he's a good dwarf, but he is but a miner. He is a blunt instrument like those he uses. The dwarves need a firmer hand, one blessed of the Lord of Battle. You can see there's a twinkle in her eye at this point. She leans in towards you. You, Kola, you must kill your uncle and take the place for our family. The Hammerstones must rule, but they must have a suitable leader. And you can see there's a look in her eye at this point that you have never seen from her before. I
say this with all due respect to Kevin, both as a GM and as a friend. Fuck you, sir. As if this wasn't difficult enough. Okay, this makes it so much more interesting. Whoa.
See, as soon as she finishes saying that, she then sort of goes back to the sickly, sort of kindly thing. Oh, look, you see, they still have the baker on the corner. Still like we had when we were children. When you were a wee one. So she turns over and, I think it sounds like you're kind of in shock for a moment of just trying to process what's happened.
I'd say so.
The guards were far enough behind, and she spoke low enough that, and the crowd was loud enough that you're certainly, it's unlikely that they overheard what was being said. So what was being said was just between the two of you.
what I wouldn't give for a scry spell right now.
Hmm.
Or message. Is the crowd loud enough if I were to lower my voice?
To do what?
To respond to her.
Oh yes, absolutely. She's started walking towards this baker. She's back to being just like mom for a stroll with her, through the old neighborhood kind of thing. But you can definitely catch up to her and try and say something if you like.
Well, yeah, but there's people around now.
I'm so happy that pleased you, Dave.
We're all just sitting there looking at the chat notes. I'm like, yeah.
Uh,
The players are all kind of sitting here laughing, like, haha, look at Cola. Have fun with this one, Andrew.
Yeah, it's not so much, oh, I get my moment in the spotlight. It's, oh god, the spotlight's on me.
yeah, I didn't really, man, how naive I was.
You didn't
I
think
was
Kev
in
was going
Cola,
to... Kev, just turn the heat up. Crank up that spotlight. Turn it
Yeah.
up another notch.
yeah, the whole thing, throw it into the fire, be done with it. No. I think Cola's too, it's mine now.
So, it sounds like Cola's reeling from this. So let's give Cola an opportunity to. What do you like? Is there anything you're going to say to her, or do you need to respond to her? Because you've also got in your pocket this note from your allies.
Right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave that where it is because I don't think there's gonna be a very good, easy opportunity or a good opportunity to easily get rid of that without being noticed.
Yeah.
Um.
Well, you need to respond on the other side with this as well, too.
Well, yeah. So I can't get rid of it.
Okay.
So if we can, we'll go to other people. I'll respond.
Sure.
In a minute.
Sure. So let's get back to the rest of the party. So, guys, while you're waiting for the plan, what we'll go through again. There's ways of accessing like the common room, the quarters, like the quarters of the nobles and whatnot. There is a way of accessing the barracks and probably the kitchens as well. So, does that affect your plan whatsoever, or is the plan now to try and get Cola to meet up with his uncle in the common room, and then you guys to sort of jump out and get him?
Hopefully not the common room. I think we wanted something
sorry,
a little smaller.
Yeah, sorry, his room, his quarters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His
Yeah,
quarters
that's
or an
the plan.
antechamber or something.
Yeah, I'd assume he'd have like not just his own bedroom, but like a meeting room that's his kind of like personal lair, since he's a bad guy.
Yeah. Sharks with
Where he
lasers.
can do his plotting and his scheming and practice his evil laughs.
Yeah, exactly.
I just had a question about the logistics of healing. How are we going to handle that as far as getting everybody up?
Yeah, so I saw that in chat as well too. So what I've said, it wasn't that we were hand waving the earlier days. Is that you guys did not have access to a cleric, and you guys didn't have any opportunity to get a good night's rest in a safe place. So you didn't heal anything in the time that you were on the run. Now that you guys have 2 days of rest, you will heal 3 per day because you're getting under the guidance of a healer,
6.
and you'll have the opportunity to heal. We'll wait until we'll when everyone does it at once. We'll do all the healing at the same time. So does that answer your question, John?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so right now you guys think you've got 2 days until you're hatching your plan. So on the first day, let's do that. Everyone gains 3 hit points back from their healing. And then, Falcril, you have full access to your thing. Yes, you know what? We're well past. I took a moment away just to check on the dog because she was barking at someone outside. Let's take our mid-session break right now, guys. We'll take 5 minutes, and then we'll come back, refresh beverages, and, empty...
Do the healing.
Yeah, and then we'll do the healing, and that'll give Cola a chance to think about what he's going to do. Back in a moment.
This is going to be hectic.
All right. Let's go check in with chat here. Ice Missile, howdy, howdy. Or Ice King, Magic Missile, of course. Fred, what's shaking? Sir Wombles? I think it's been answered. Yeah, we've got, we use Roll20 for all of our games. Exodus, is AD&D much more complicated than 5e? It's got... I think that the rules are a little bit more complicated than 5e, but it's not to the point where... Not to the point that, like, you know, critics of 2e or AD&D in general seem to think it is. That could be because I have the benchmark of other games like Rollmaster that are substantially more complicated, but it's not to the point. I learned AD&D when I was a kid, so I mean, like, it's not a, and as have a lot of gamers my age, so I don't think it's so complex that it is unlearnable. It's just that it's a different kind of game than what 5e is. As Arlen points out, I shot a 2.5 hour video on about AD&D 2nd edition, so you can find lots of information about that there. Brian, what's shaking? Hey, Brian, no, my ear's still fucking plugged up, so I can't hear to the one ear right now, but doing okay. Brian in the bunker? Howdy, howdy. Oh, this is Brian. Okay, got it. Brian's got 2 channels. Nice. And Fred, yes, I agree. Evil is fun. Okay, so then, guys, we're all back here. What are we thinking? Where are we? So we took our break. You guys were talking about... Oh, healing, right. So first off, everyone... Tom, you can gain 3 hit points back. Gorwin's already at full. Lex, you gain 3 hit points back. And then Falcaro, you have your first day of spells back as well, too.
Yep.
So what do you want to do? What are you doing with those spells for that first day?
I'm going to get Tom and Lex up as soon as I can.
Okay, so you go ahead and keep on casting spells for whatever you want to cast.
You're almost dead. Heal yourself.
That's not who Falcarel is. He's going to take care of people before he messes with himself. So 1 cure mod to Tom. This is 10, and I'll do another one on Tom for an 8.
Nice.
And then 1 on Lex. So there's my 3.
So Tom, you've actually healed another 18 points in that first day, and then Lex, you're getting 8 back.
And then I'll do a cure light on Lex for 1. So, and then 3, 5, and 8.
Okay, and
so
who's
that's all my first levels, all my spells for that day.
Okay.
Those are all on me?
Yep. So 8, 9, 12, plus 13 is 25 back to you.
Okay.
Wow.
I'll worry about myself tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Better hope nothing happens today then.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about.
I don't have any weapons to fight with, so...
Oh, wait, that reminds me. Falcaro, give me a percentile roll, please. Okay. They're not able to find anything that fits you armor-wise. Do you guys have any... I'm guessing no one else has extra sets of armor that they've got to spare, right? Oh, Mo, you're quite quiet right now.
Sorry, let me check. I just turned down one.
Yep, that's good.
Let me check my spreadsheet. I think I may have a set of studded that I didn't sell because you wouldn't get so much, and that was on Alehead.
Okay.
And I do have some spare human-sized clothes. I had 1 or 2 decent sets of civilian clothes, so I can give Falcor one of those.
Well, that'd be perfect. I use studded leather.
Okay. So you can get Tom's old set. It takes you'll take a little bit of adjustment of straps and shit like that to get it to fit you properly, because elves, even a half elf, has a more slender form than what a human does.
Yeah.
And I think Thomas has got a 18 strength.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, Arlen, if you were saying that you were muted there.
Oh, I was just commenting. Elves are really slight in second edition. Like Gorwyn he's only 5'4", but he only weighs just over 100 pounds.
Yeah. Falcor's a half Sylvan elf, so he's a bit more burly, but he's got a 16 strength, so he's not too bad.
It's just that Thomas has got like an 1844 or something like that strength, so it would have been for a fairly big human, and then size down. But it will fit, though. It just takes some adjustments on it. So you will have studded leather again. You also, I think that someone was supplying you with a bow as well, too. Lex, you said you were turning that over. Is that right?
We were talking about that. We hadn't actually decided
Okay.
Who's doing what, because
I'm only really good with a composite longbow, or longbow in general, so.
Okay.
I do have my original non-silvered longsword, which you could use.
I suppose that is a backup melee weapon if I need it.
Okay. If you need a
what
knife
can
or
you use melee-wise?
if you need a knife or a dagger, they can supply that. That's not going to be something that's going to be difficult to come across.
I can 2-weapon fight just like Lex does. Although I prefer a quarterstaff because I can make it magical.
That they can probably get you.
Yeah, if I'm going to be in melee combat, it's going to end badly. So, as we've seen, I've got the stats for it. It's just the rolls don't come.
Yeah, 1 hit in 17 sessions.
Well, I got quite a few hits when I think we took some spiders, but after that, it was, yeah.
Okay. All right. So then you've got some gear. You've got your healing done for the first day. At the end of the first day is when you would be receiving Cola's response. So let's cut back to Cola. So after that meeting with your mom, and I think that she likely will not. If you try and draw the subject back to that too, she just keeps saying that, like, there are ears, Cola, ears here, and gestures to the guards that are following you.
I think. Well, what I was gonna try to attempt, because she mentioned a baker that they were going to.
Yep.
I was gonna try to tell her, or just say to her, not expecting a response necessarily, but I've experienced many things, Mom, on my journeys, including developing other new skills and talents. One of which is baking. Have you ever made a loaf? Have you ever made bread, Mum? It's a funny process. It's not profoundly complicated. In fact, it's quite simple. It's not a whole lot that goes into it. But it does require a lot of precision and patience. You have to mix your ingredients properly. You have to let it sit and wait and ferment just right before you knead it, which also needs to be done just so. And then you need to let it sit again. And even when you put it in to the oven to bake, you never really know if all your work has been for naught or if it'll be successful. Not until you take it out and you take that lid off. You see, Mom, it takes patience and time, or else the dough doesn't have the power to rise properly into its proper shape. And it's a relationship of trust that the baker builds with his dough through this process. Trust in the process, trust in the skill, and trust that you've done well by it.
That may be, Cola. But you know what I know? That if you sit around waiting for your perfect loaf to rise, you starve. And she kind of hits you, and then she taps the one of the loaves, and it's like, oh, this one sounds quite nice, does it not? And once again, the face on the look on her face has gone back to the doddering kind of motherly, the way that she's expressed. And of course, both of these two people you've been seeing, the sort of spaced out mom and the calculating mom. Neither of these is the person you know.
Yeah, very much so. Okay.
So let's cut back to you sitting in your in the privacy of your chamber again too, and you're sitting there with this note from your friends, and you're once again reading over what they've said and the plan that's been proposed. And you can't help but feel, you're not looking at it necessarily, but you can feel the presence of that ring behind you. Are you going to send a note back to your allies?
And this is the set up a private meeting and let us know if you need us to break you out.
Yeah.
Okay. I will.
I'll
scroll
repost down here just so we all got it on the same spot here. There's what the
that's
note says. Yeah.
So I guess I will. Oh gosh, I can't even know. Can I actually, I'll write the note to say tomorrow, and just hope I can get a meeting, or maybe I should ask a servant if I could set up a meeting first.
So the date that they've given is the 14th of Marpanoth, and you would have received this note on the 12th of Marpanoth.
Okay.
So what we're saying is the 13th.
We have 2 days. Yeah, I can just. I'll tell them. Understood. I will make the arrangements.
So type out whatever's in the note, and then we'll use that as a guide for how the characters will respond.
I have a lore question.
Of course.
About the relationship between dwarves and elves in this setting, because we have a bunch of elves and half-elves.
Yeah. I don't recall there being, like, in the Dragonlance setting, there's a distinct animosity between the two of them. It's not like, they're friends necessarily, but it's also not like they're enemies.
Yeah.
They don't hate them the way that, say, like, Dragonlance definitely is the case. In Middle-earth, depending on what time period you pick, then, late Third Age, they're not really the best of friends.
Yeah.
But they haven't gone to war with each other the way that, say, they did in did they in Dragonlance? Can't remember. In any event, they're not. It's not that. Not necessarily that same kind of animosity.
Okay. Well, I figure so. Gorwyn has a skill at ancient elven history, so I figure he'd know something about that, and that would probably color his kind of understanding of everything that's going on, especially with Von Ben and him offering to help us.
Yeah, I mean, they're not your people, and they definitely value things differently, and they're, how do you think that Gorwyn is viewing Von Ben's interests in this?
I think Gorwyn's pretty smart. He put 2 and 2 together that Von Ben has a lot to gain from this being successful. If all the other merchants have gone over to Black Ice and he's the only one who's got a setup ready to go for non-Black Ice shipping, and we cut out the Black Ice, then that's definitely there. But I think he's not a great reader of people, so he sort of, rather than reading Von Ben's interests and saying, no, I can kind of trust him. Otherwise, Gorwyn has a sort of implicit trust of him as somebody who has helped them, and says, you know what, if he has ulterior motives, that's kind of his own business. And that's, that's sort of like that's kind of probably something that he associates with the dwarves, is that because they think a little differently, some of what appears to him to be ulterior motives is just kind of, that's how they operate, right?
Dwarves being dwarves.
Yeah, that's just dwarves being dwarves. That's not dwarves being greedy, calculating sons of bitches.
Yeah. They're just all greedy, calculating.
They're just
success.
all naturally like that, so you have to make some understanding of.
Yeah, I mean the sort of the relationship between the different clans and their relationship and value on wealth is probably very foreign to Gorwin's experiences.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not that you know, it's very part of the RPG zeitgeist on Twitter right now is the distinction between race and culture and race and ancestry and stuff like that too. I see this as being if we're raised in a culture where that's what they choose to value all the time, it's hard not to have that inform your worldview too, right? So that's
exactly. I think that's
So the all right, so Cola. There we go. We got a message. So this arrives, and let's see here. Lex, so I guess you've been the one who's been reading this or reading these things. So you receive the note. Von Bin brings it over to you and says, "We've received a response from your friend." And as it's unrolled, we once again hear in Cola's voice,
Friends, I understand. I think I can arrange this in time. I have no access to weapons or armor. And I can actually imagine that there's a bit of a slight pause between these two sentences.
Yep.
As if, I'll just do it. Please know, I may need your strength, not only in body, but in mind and soul. I may no longer be myself when you next see me. If that seems so, please, I implore ye, remove my ring at all costs. I can say no more. Be well.
And let's see here. Who? Anyone have read write as an actual proficiency? You do. Okay. So Gorwin, looking over this thing, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, Andrew, but it sounds like you can see the script is a little more uneven and strained on that second paragraph. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you can see it's a little more sloppy. Like dwarves write in a very precision kind of precise way. That's the way that dwarven script needs to be written, so it carries over when they're writing in common as well. But what you can see is there's definitely a sloppiness to and an unevenness to the hand, Gorwin, that you can pick up. I don't think the rest of you guys necessarily pick that up, but Gorwin, you can just see that, like, studying text in the same way that, like, a break in a pattern just jumps out at you. It's the same thing here.
And just for point of order for Kevin, that this is not like I have not put it on yet. This is pure emotion causing this.
For sure. Yeah, that's why I took it to be. Yeah. So, how does that? What do you guys make of that?
Academic who notices. Our academic fighter notices.
Yeah. So, Gorwin, you see that? Do you say anything or?
Yeah, I'll say.
Gorwin is traditionally the one who does respond quite slowly too, so it may be.
Well, and in particular, what I'm thinking is like, I'm trying to say this in a way that doesn't sound like I'm insulting my friend's intelligence, but like, you all can tell just from the note, but perhaps you may not have noticed just how much this has affected Cole. Notice here and here, and I'll sort of point to, like, there's an A that's a little bit shaky or something like that, and say, I think he was in more serious distress than even his note suggests.
So what do you guys make of this?
So that's after like holding it open and looking at it for a minute and going,
Does he have a ring?
Making everybody wait.
What is he mentioning a ring for?
And Dave, actually, you're kind of quiet. It could just be me.
How's that? Is that better?
That's better, yeah.
Yep.
I just muted and unmuted to see if that helped. But
I can't hear. Well, we're having some difficulties with Mo. Mo can't hear you, Mo.
Drink time.
Yeah, drink time. Ice King, drink up. He just typed in drink. So while Mo's getting back on, what do you guys make of this?
Did he have a ring that we are aware of? Like, what's he referring to? Do you guys know?
So Falcaril is the only other like member of a clergy here. You know that, you know, he was Kolo's a priest as well too, but you've seen him reference the, you know, his holy symbol that's hanging on a thing around his neck. It's not something that it's not a ring he's wearing, so it's not that.
I didn't have like a family sigil ring or something like that.
Stalker will probably say if he's in the hands of the enemy, it might
Or-
be black
yeah.
eyes.
Yeah, that would sort of be my question, is that if you have something to like denote his status as a Hammerstone, since the dwarves are so clannish.
Right.
If he did, it would have been fairly. It would not have been an ostentatious thing that necessarily caught your eye. When he left, they were miners. They were a simple, you know, family of miners.
Right.
He was the one who stood apart as the what do you call it? As a member of the Clangeddon, or the priesthood of Clangeddon. Andrew, do you think he was wearing a clan ring? It wouldn't be like in the same way that you'd have like a class ring or something like that. Like I don't think it would be unusual for him to wear that, but I don't know whether he would. That's something he would keep on him or not.
I have a feeling that,
Yeah.
given the nature of his departure, and that he departed at so young an age for a dwarf, like I said earlier, he was willful as a child. I think they're modest, and they probably wouldn't have much. So I think he would have left it at home.
Okay.
Out of spite.
That's very interesting. Then you know what? I think the ring has been reworked to have this thing set in it.
Oh, cool. So this
Yeah.
is his ring.
It's actually his ring that's had this piece of black ice that's been reworked in it.
Mm.
Okay, so then then in answer to the question, no, he doesn't know what he's talking about. You guys don't know what ring he's referencing. To the best of your knowledge, there's no ring that stood out to any of you.
Well, it's clearly something important if he's willing to write it down in this letter, and as Gorwin has pointed out, the text is shaky or whatnot. So I'll have to keep that in mind.
Could I make an intelligence check here?
For what?
Well, me as playing a lot of role-playing games, they could have forced something on him, but I'm not sure my character might think, well, he might be saying, well, they might force a ring on him, and we know that the black ice has an effect.
I think you don't need to make an intelligence check for that. That's a logical leap.
Oh, right, no.
Yeah.
Well, I'll then say, well, maybe if they make him wear something with black ice and try and
makes
turn
sense.
him, that might be what he's trying to get at. Because we know the effect it has on those guards we met. And I think we tried to pick it up, and we got a really bad reaction from the person that tried to pick it up. I can't remember who did it.
I think it was
Right
Cola.
at the start.
It was Cola the
Yeah.
first time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Are
Right.
we doing this?
so heal up and get rolling.
Second day.
The dice is cast.
I will ask. I'll make arrangement. I'll go and seek out my mother.
Okay. So you find her in her quarters as well. It turns out like you don't see her much throughout the day, and she spends most of her time in her chambers. And you get in there, and the whole place smells of like medicinal herbs being dropped into hot water and things like that. Like it has a really off-putting kind of medicinal herb smell to the whole place. And she's actually in bed in her gown. Her hair is all down, and she's got two attendants who are seeing to her. One of them is an apothecary who's dealing with these herbs and such, and the other one is just a servant. And when she sees you come in, she still has that amulet around her, and she says, "Kola, come in, my boy." And she turns to the servant and says, "Give us time, privacy, please." And they finish up whatever they're doing, and then they head out, close the door behind them, and she looks at you and she grins, and it's you know, she's got a kind of like a thin layer of sweat on her as well too, that adds an even more unhealthy kind of pallor. Her hair hangs down in a stringy, you know, sickly kind of way. You can see now that she's, you know, the hair is just hanging down loose. There's big chunks where like it's not been pulled out, but like there's definitely bald spots that have been covered up by the elaborate hair that she has, or hairdo she's been wearing for the last little while. He says, "Cola, what's on your mind, boy? Have you come to embrace your destiny?"
I'll approach, and I'm gonna kneel or sit beside her bed. I'll take her hand and just kind of hold it, clasp it in mine, and hold it. It pains me to think that my own mother, or that I have changed so much that my own mother questions or worries about the loyalty I have towards this family, towards our clan. Perhaps you're right. That I have spent too long away from home. That I had started to forget what was really important.
Indeed.
And I thank you for opening my eyes to that, for reminding me who I am. That I am a Hammerstone, and that I will always be a Hammerstone. And
She
that comes with duty and
pats her
responsibility.
hand, nodding her head as she does. Yes.
What we are building here has the potential to last generations.
Aye. A new
And that's-
kingdom you could build, Kola. A kingdom. Hammerstone halls.
And I think that together we could build a great home, a great house again. Or build a great house from such humble beginnings. It is almost as if destiny is calling us. And I believe that I could build an empire.
You. And you alone, Kola.
No, not me and me alone. My clan, our people. But our people need guidance, don't they, Mother?
Indeed, Kola. But tell me, who are your people, Kola? Are they your kin? Those you're born to? Or do your allegiances lie elsewhere, my boy? So long you've travelled that you mistake those around you as your kin and blood.
This thing you ask of me, this task you set before me, does it also not involve our kin? Do you not also ask me to risk kith and kin? I hope you understand, Mother, the weight you are putting onto my shoulders.
'Tis not I who puts it on your shoulder, Kola. It's destiny. The gods themselves have placed this before you, and before us. You will bring the Hammerstones to a place of grandness. They will speak the Hammerstone name alongside those of the battle hammers and the other grand houses of the dwarves long gone. This shall be the age of the Hammerstones, forged with the strength of the black ice.
I will squeeze her hand gently. I believe it is time for the Hammerstones to come into their rightful own. I believe that destiny has called upon us to do great things.
Indeed. Do you propose then, boy, to meet in private with your uncle and to swear your allegiance to him?
Which is it, Mother? Do you want me to swear allegiance? Or do you want me to demand allegiance?
Oh, I want you to not claim allegiance from him, to seize power from him, to
Which
kill
I can only
him.
do if I first swear it to him.
Then do you wish to do so in private, my boy? Is that what you wish to? To meet tomorrow? And she grins. Your tongue is caught, my boy. As are you. So let's cut away from the scene very briefly to you guys. And late at night, you guys are awoken because Von Bin has received another note.
Shite.
Did you think that anything could happen in her home without her knowing it?
Hopefully, Gordon can pick up on this. Isn't Cola writing?
So this is the note you guys receive. Lex, you read this over. Gorwin, you don't need to read to make a roll to because you've tweaked your mind towards it. This is in perfect cursive. Perfect. You would think it's the same hand, or likely the same hand that wrote this, but there is no uncertainty. There's no wavering. There's no imperfections in this script. So, taking yourselves out of the player mindset, characters, you receive this note, and we can picture you're all sort of gathering in the study alongside Paldronor, and you can see that this is the note you've received from Cola. Von Bin says it came through the same source that we've been previously communicating. He is being held at the Hammerstone residence, or the Hammerstone kind of quarters. It's in a different part of this same side of the valley, but a different part.
So if Gorwin gets a chance to look at the handwriting,
Yep.
What he'll say is, it seems that danger has steeled Cola's resolve, and where he was troubled before, well, you all know what the presence of a more immediate threat can do to a mind.
You're sure it's the same handwriting?
Oh, I as sure as I can be.
So do we go now then? As soon as we can get our troops up. So this is the evening of the day we did the healing on.
Yes.
So do we wait for another go now with our spells lost, or do we wait, recharge, and then go immediately after?
Well, whatever you decide, Falkrol probably won't be coming with you until he has his spells.
Yeah. Okay.
Coward.
We need to wait for Fulcral to sleep on it.
When does Falcro pray for his spells?
Dawnish.
So Lex is like, okay, so we're certain this is his writing, and he knows that Barrick suspects the plot. This is potentially a trap then. Is it not? If he's warning us that Barrick suspects and that he's in danger, we need to go quickly. And this could be... he might not know there's a trap, but we could be walking into one, is what I'm saying.
Wait a minute. Let's think of this from what we know about Kola. If Kola suspects that his life is in danger, would he risk our lives and tell us to save him against the forces we came across already?
No. Actually, he wouldn't.
Because Falkrol, I know Falkrol would not tell you to save me. He's like, get away. But I don't know Kola's.
Kola was the opposite. Kola didn't even want us to come with him to this side of the valley because he was worried that we were endangering ourselves for him to see his mom.
That's what Falkrol says. He's like, from what I know of Kola.
So this is definitely a trap.
Either way, it's going to be a trap. If he knows, then he's setting us up, and if he doesn't know, then something's
Well, no.
Kola.
If Kola wouldn't willingly put us in danger, Kola didn't write this.
No.
In which case, it's a trap.
So I don't have any kind of like cipher skill or something like that, but I'm wondering if there's a way that with my kind of rewrite skills I can try to see if these guys think that this is a trap. Gorwin's not quite so sure about that, but he is going to do his best to see if there's like any kind of like a pattern, or almost like is there an acrostic secretly hidden in the way that the letters are laid out or something?
Yeah. I don't think so. But I guess one thing to think of is, if this is a trap, what does that mean for Kola?
He's in danger.
That's what Von Bin would ask too. So
Yeah.
if this isn't, if this is, you know, a letter, or this is a letter from him, even if it isn't, what does that mean for your friend?
We also, there's a lot of ways that Barrett could have found out about the plot. He doesn't need to have intercepted our messages to know that something's up, especially after we killed those two dwarves while running to get to Von Bin's.
Well, but
Yeah.
his advisor could maybe, he's a magic user, can maybe cast Scry.
Or maybe Von Bin's son is...
Or maybe Trevok, decided to go full dick instead of partial dick and
Right.
sold us out.
So there was two parts to the plan. Was one, rescue Kola, and then take Barrick down. Question is, do we continue with the two-part thing?
Was that the plan, guys? Did I miss
I
something?
think we were going to get.
We had discussed as a secondary option that if Kola couldn't get a meeting with Barrick, that what we would do is try to break Kola out himself.
Okay.
That
So
was
this
his
is now breaking Kola out, not
Yeah.
stage of the right? Okay. In that case, I suggest we go as soon as Fulgrill can do his spells.
That means you guys will be crossing town in the
daytime.
Yeah, in the daytime then. Even though this is underground, it doesn't it keeps a day-night cycle. Yeah, because otherwise they'd be totally fucked when they're above ground.
So we cross over at night and then wait for me to pray and then spring it off when we're there. But
Yeah. Can
Or we
we
go
sneak in, hide in the tunnels, and then break out in the early morning, just after dawn?
You mean not crossing any open areas during
The thing is,
day, but-
the impediment for Falcor getting his spells is a full night's rest. You still don't have that, so... Yeah.
You
And
can't
the
really
thing
sleep
that-
in the tunnels waiting to go. Yeah, I think we're going to have to do it, have a full night's rest, and then go in the late evening tomorrow.
Or you guys might be able to go ahead and as
Oh.
soon as I'm rested, I can try and sneak my way over there and assist.
Cola could be dead by tomorrow night.
Yeah, I don't think we can wait.
Being
If
this
someone-
close on the other side of torture, Falquirl's like, yeah, he's not wanting to go back into that as soon as he can. So unless he has a chance, he's not going to be a dead weight. So I'm
Well,
saying
do
you
we
guys
just
don't
go-
go. You,
Or we have 2 potions. We give you 2 potions. You try and stay alive.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to be useless if.
Well,
That's
what
you.
if Cola's injured and we
Cheap.
need to get him back on his feet? I think we need to reserve one just in case.
So we
need
could
to-
have
Falco
Falco
drink-
take 1 potion and
and
have
drink-
1 ready for Cola.
and Falcor would give him a bow.
Well, with a bow, I can shoot stuff, but otherwise, I'm going to be useless.
Now,
Well,
the,
we can always
the
we can
higher
always give you a bodyguard of some of our troops and say, look after the mage as part of their instruction.
Let's just give him a bow.
you do have 20 guys. I mean, if what you want to do is use some of these guys for for this rescue mission, Von Bin's on board with that.
If we can rescue Cola and we can go straight on to Barrack, we don't want to give Barrack time to prepare defenses.
Well, we don't know. Yeah, I mean, that would be ideal, but I think we might have to decide if we get Cola out, if we can go on or not at that point.
Well, if we get Cola out, it sends a huge message to Barrack that we're here and we're doing stuff.
Yeah.
And he's just going to turtle.
Yeah.
So we get Cola out if we can. We keep on going, and we try to get to Barrack and his Luskin wench. And maybe that doesn't solve the problem. Maybe it does.
Can we
Yes,
ask Adric about kind of like the nature of these? Oh, people are frozen. You might not be able to hear me.
Oh, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry.
Yep.
On my
Yep.
end, you looked frozen.
You look frozen.
I was gonna ask if we could ask Adric about like the nature of these secret passages. If I'm assuming Adric has to lead us through them for us to be able
Yes.
to use them.
Yeah.
But is there a way, like maybe if we rescue Cola we take a secret passage to get into the Hammerstone residence to get Cola?
There's no secret passages into the Hammerstone.
Oh, there's
residence.
nothing in
No,
there.
remember
Okay.
the reason there is into the halls of black ice is because it's a grand nobles thing, and they were able. There's a reason you'd want to slip in, slip out of there. The Hammerstone residence is that of a simple mining family.
Okay.
So he just needs to show us where to get in to the, like, afterwards.
Yeah, we need to plot a path from Cola's house to where we can get in the tunnels, and then, or maybe if he's going to wait for us at the entrance of the tunnels to lead us, and then we can do the grab from Cola's house, join them, and then hopefully go on and do Beric and the Luskan bitch, to put it as Storwood.
Mhm.
Okay, so the plan is, to go tonight to go and rescue Cola, and
Yep.
then to meet up with Falcarel afterwards, or
Nope. We're going to give Falcor a
Falco's
potion.
going to come with us because he's going to drink a healing potion right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, the only thing I'm going to be able to do is shoot arrows, guys, and I won't even be able to heal
That's
once
the only
we
thing I
get
can
by.
do.
Yeah.
Strangely
You're
enough,
saying-
I shoot arrows and swing a sword. So that,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I
you're
take
not
my
any-
role as the healer seriously. So,
okay.
Well, next time we'll give you some of that healing before you dish it out to everyone else.
I
Could
think I
Adric
can
heal Falcarel?
Adric can, he can cast. I think he'll be able to spare 1 Cure Moderate and 1 Cure Light on him. Otherwise, he prepares other spells.
Well, if he's willing to, I would thank
Yep.
him profusely.
Yeah. Let's do if that's the plan. Give a 1d8 and then a 2d4 plus 3.
Okay.
1.
Give me astonishing
Yeah.
fortune.
Oh, 7.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Solinar does not like other gods being involved.
okay. 8
No, it's
points.
more like the god of secrets isn't a
Okay.
healing god.
And are you quaffing the full potion as well?
No.
You gonna keep it on you?
I'm going to hold it in case I need to give it to somebody.
Okay. Who has the other potion then?
I think one of the frontline fighters, because if we get we might be the closest to Cola if he's down. We need to get him up.
So it's Tom or
So it's me or
Store, I guess. Or Lex, you're Lex, are you filling in as the frontline fighter now?
I suppose so.
yeah. Well, if Lex, you carry it because I'm probably more tanky, so you can be the one that quickly gives it to Cola while I'm holding them off. I think. Okay with that?
Lex does have 1.5 times your hit points.
Oh, in that case,
Just
I'll
take one action. Yeah.
You got like 1.5
yeah, I
times
had
your
rather
HP,
crappy
so-
rolls. So.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the Thomas rule.
Yeah.
So one.
Yeah.
healing
Hence the
potion.
Thomas rule. Exactly. Okay. So then,
I'll take healing potion. Okay.
so-
So who's giving Falcarel a bow?
Well, I need a longbow. Otherwise, I'm not
A
gonna.
regular or a composite?
Either one. I'm specialized with the longbow.
But if Gorwin, you give him a bow, then you basically have to be in the front. And I've got twice the hit points.
Don't you have a bow, Lex?
Yeah, but Lex is really good with the bow and not very good with the sword. So, yeah, you can use my composite longbow.
okay.
Well,
And
Lex, you can use a short bow too, right? It's just the only reason I need the longbow is because I'm specialized with it. If Tom has a short bow, you could use that from the back until you need to get up front.
Okay. No, I won't bother.
Okay.
Okay. So it's not. And then, how many of the 20 dwarves do you want to bring with you? We'll get into the particulars of the plan once we, well, I'm going to cut back to Cola in a moment here to see what's happening there.
Do we know anything about the house guards and how?
So we'll we'll get into the particulars of that. There's probably, I guess you don't really know at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, ask Vonbin. How many guards does Vonbin have? Is it normal for a merchant home? But he's not a noble. But
they're not. Von Bin is a very successful merchant. The Hammerstones are a mining family.
Yeah.
or they were.
So it's tough because they're new money and because of the way Hammerstone runs the this side of the valley now. It's tough to tell whether he would have sent a bunch of his troops over there, or typically the mining houses would not have anything. They don't have the palisade or like the wall that these guys do.
Right.
It would just be like access to the home would be from the street.
Do we want to take like 10 with us and just send the other 10 with Adric, and we'll meet him at the entrance to
Yeah, I was going to suggest
after
that.
Cola? Does that sound fair?
Although that means we have the 4 of us and 10 armed dwarves traveling through. I mean, we're traveling at night, so that's better, but that's still a fairly large contingent.
Or
Right.
could we approach in smaller groups?
And you have that cart as well outside that Adric could use to hide them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you guys want to use the cart to get over to that side. But let's just... So is it 10? You're splitting them 10-10? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I think 10-10, everyone.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the plan. You guys outfit yourselves. Adric is going to head over. When is he to expect you guys? Is it like mid morning or something like that you guys are going to come over and then you're going to assault Hammerstone?
I thought we were going to assault it in the night, effectively.
We're not waiting for Falcarel for morning healing spells.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if we assault it as soon as possible, then how far is it from the house to the place where we're going to meet him, roughly? Assuming we're moving at a fast hustle or something.
Sorry, from Hammerstone's house to where you're going to meet them?
Yes.
So that'll be probably about 45 minutes. If you're traveling as the underground crow flies, but if you're keeping to the shadows and stuff like that, assume at least an hour of travel.
So we'll be a couple hours.
That's to get there, but if we grab Cola and then meet the others at the entrance to this tunnel, roughly how long will it take us to get from the house to wherever the entrance to these tunnels are? That's what I meant. Not.
Well, again, that's what I've answered.
that's-
It's
Yeah,
right.
So,
it's quite.
so if we're like an hour to Cola's house or half an hour to Cola's house, an hour or two to sort things out or less, and then so we could be at most a couple of hours till we meet Adric and the rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll synchronize our watches.
Yeah.
And say,
Everyone hold up their sundials. Oh.
No, but I
We
think
all set
if
them
we can
to
have an
UTC.
estimate of when we'll get to Cola's house, we say a sort of 30-minute window, an hour and a half to 2 hours after that is when we want Adric to be ready for us. And if we're not there within that window, he should bug out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can tell him if you want something different. He's gonna basically get the hired guns. He's gonna get them inside the passage. Get them there.
Okay.
Get them inside the passage.
Yep.
They're concealed, and then he'll just hide. They'll never see him, is what he says.
Can they bring an extra suit of armor and an axe and a shield?
Yeah, that's
yep.
that's with our group, I think.
Cola's going to need something to wear. He might not have,
Do you
leather
mean
might
with
not be
like,
his favorite.
when you guys rescue, like with the group that's coming with you guys, or with the other group?
I'm assuming
It's our group.
With your group? Yep, they can do that. Split it amongst the guys. It won't be the kind of dwarven hirelings. All right. So you guys all pack up. All of this takes place, and we see you guys set out. The one group goes with Adric. The second group is with you guys, split up into a couple of groups that are going to meet up in the mining district, basically, or the mining kind of laborers district. Gorwyn, Falcaril, Tom, and Lex. I'm thinking you guys are all concealed underneath that tarp.
Yeah, because then
Okay.
obvious non-dwarves, I think.
Yeah. All right, so let's get back to this scene with Cola. So all this stuff has happened when you received the note, and Cola. So your mom has just heavily intimated that you're betraying the kind, and that she may know something more than what you realize she did.
Yeah.
Cola. Now is the time for your decision. What you decide now will decide your destiny. You come back to us quite troubled, boy. Your mind swirling with all sorts of wrong priorities and things that you're placing before what you should be. Which is, and she, again, gingerly pats your hand with that emaciated and, vein-filled hand. You hear the door open. You've made some grave errors, boy, but you can correct them. There can be a place for you of grandeur and conquer. And what you see walk in are those two guards who've been following you around. And one of them is carrying the box.
Dun, 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 dun.
I've actually realized the errors that Cola's made are errors that this guy has made. And there's a problem here. Well, no, because I had left it because I was going to try to save the casting of this until I was ready to meet Barrick. So it's not cast, so it's not going to help me here.
Uh-oh. Yeah, it's a plan. And the plan is gone awry.
Would you have prepared it, though?
Yeah, I took a screenshot earlier. I was going to send it to you privately of the spells I have prepared today.
Oh, I trust you absolutely. That whatever you say you've prepared is what you prepared.
Because I swapped out Bless.
Yeah, that's totally. I completely. Your character, Cola's been thinking about this. Yeah, he's been thinking about this for a couple of days.
Protection from evil before I went to go meet with Barrick. I should have cast it before I went to go meet with my mother, but I couldn't have known. And it doesn't last too long. 9 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So you got to consecrate this ring, is what you're saying?
No, I was going to try to cast it on myself to try to offer a little bit of a.
I know. I'm like, you got to consecrate the ring? Hold on one second, Mom.
She'll see through that in a heartbeat.
I know. I'm just teasing.
Now with the other, I had a second plan forming while you guys were chatting, but the reappearance of these two guards also nullifies that plan.
What's your
That's wonderful.
Yeah. What if you have a moment to see them now too? You realize that these are not, like I said, the Dwarven Valley doesn't really have like a standing army per se. It's more people who've been pressed in. These are miners who have worked for your family in the past, who are now pressed into being soldiers with wielding these crazy, black ice weapons.
God damn. Okay.
These are incidentally not the ones who have been keeping watch on you, and they are not the ones who were following you earlier. These appear
I
to
thought
be...
you just said they were.
No, sorry, it's two guards you've seen around, but not the ones that have been sort of lurking around after you.
Oh, okay. So they don't necessarily. I mean, okay. So I don't.
We know it's hard to
recognize
tell them apart. All dwarves kind of look alike.
Hey now. Crap. Okay. All plans are failing here, and all right.
Fortune favors the bold.
It does.
Cola.
Sometimes.
Your triumph cannot be written with the assistance of non-dwarves. I know you value your friends. It is the nature of dwarves to try and work together with others. You have just been too long gone from your own kind to know that the only ones you can truly trust, particularly in these moments of transformation, is those who share your blood.
If I were to decide, Mother, that this is too great a burden to bear, what would my fate be then?
You... And her face kind of twists up. You would be no son of mine. Cast out. And you, a dwarf without family, without kin, I would leave you to your uncle's wishes, which I think he made plain with his axe.
That's precisely what
A
I
little bit of
expect.
spittles coming out of her mouth as she says that too.
And it's exactly as it should be. I hold out a hand to the guard. Open palm.
Okay. He looks over through that visored helm over at his mother, your mother, and she nods towards him. He walks over, opens the box, takes out the ring, and places it in the middle of your palm. Once again, her face transforms back to that loving mother, Yes, Cola. I knew you had the true metal of a dwarf in ye.
I'm so very tempted to try Dave's idea, but that would, one, be table talk, and two, I don't think it would actually work. With my fist closed around the ring, no finger actually inside of the band, though, just yet. I'm gonna smile and gather and silently pray to Clangeddon to give me the strength to do this. And I'm going to force the most contented and delightful smile and expression of warmth and compassion that I can muster right now.
Mm-hmm.
And just I'm gonna try to caress my mother's face and say, our family will be strong, and our family will rise to its rightful place, and I will lead us there. This cannot be a family influenced by foreigners or by non-dwarves. This is our land and this is our house.
As you're gripping the ring, it feels very, like you feel a lot more conviction in your words.
Okay. I'm gonna lean in, kiss her forehead,
Yep.
and then whisper into her ear a command to sleep.
Nice. So I think that's amazing. But remember that, what are the components of the command spell? Because remember, magic is quite visible. I love this scene. Let's just take a quick look and see what the command...
Command is components verbal.
Love it. Love it, love it, yeah. So she drifts off to sleep. And
Oh, the guards are still there, though.
so you turn around and you can see that there's the two guards are just standing there.
Yeah. It's time this family was brought to order. My mother is right. Let us go and speak with Beric. I wish to see my uncle. Do be so kind as to go and arrange it for me. Can I make that a command too? I have a second casting of it.
No, because remember, command is one word.
Oh, yeah, okay. Then I would say, I would pause and just wait to see how they react.
So they sort of look at each other, and they, one of them says, "Oh no, your mother's got plans. First, for your friends."
Well, that's fine. That's of no concern to mine. I have my plans for my uncle. Go! And that will be the command.
So, one of them turns and walks out. The other one, let's see here.
Well, actually,
Yeah, because it'll end in a minute, and then he'll come back in and be like, "Wait, what?"
actually, only one of them would.
Yeah, as I'm saying, only one of them would walk out, and then he would realize in a round and come back and be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
a good
around.
point. I really, really, really want to try to remove the necklace from my mom while I'm still, like, there.
You
But
could
that's
try
not
that.
That's not going to go over well.
They got the
Honestly, with the gripping the black ice ring right now, that seems like a really good plan. There's a much bigger chunk of black ice on that medallion. If the black ice medallion makes you feel as good as what even grasping this ring does, there may be some truth to your mom's words about power here.
He wants to save his mother.
So you said
How
that.
strong is
Here's
the
what
will?
we'll do. So you've said that command. We've got you a few hours before your allies.
Only the one command. I'm not going to try to command the.
Yeah. So she's asleep. You get out, and the.
I'm gonna do it.
What are you gonna do?
I remove the necklace from my mother.
Okay. So you remove the necklace from your mother, and the soldiers who are there, the guards, say, "Wait, what are you doing?" As you're.
I am taking what is mine.
So you take it from her, and she continues to sit peacefully. Although again, like, she looks quite corpse-like.
Yeah.
The layer of sweat on her. You take it away. Oh man, you really want to put this around your neck too.
Well, I mean, I really don't.
You
You really do.
No, it
place
really
it-
sounds like you're picking.
Oh man, that's
Do I have like any capacity?
This
to will
is-
save for
so
this
this
or anything?
once you place it around your neck, you can feel stronger. You can feel, wow, this is really something invigorating. And that's when your mother starts coughing and choking uncontrollably. We cut away from you to see once again the troops leaving the Ruby Eye quarters. We see Adric and his contingent move off in one direction. The other group moves off in the other contingent. We hear them, marching along. Dwarves moving are not particularly quiet. And we see them disappear. And all we see is a silent street lit by ever-burning torches. And that's when we hear again. We can hear the sound of booted feet, many of them. And we see a contingent of 30 Hammerstone troops march up, all of them in that same plate armor, wielding various weapons of black ice. They walk up, one steps forward, places a hand on the Ruby Eye, the gates of the Ruby Eye, speaks a word in magic, and the door bursts open, and the troops double time it inside the courtyard. One or two of the Ruby Eye troops try to step forward. They are mercilessly cut down by these black ice weapons. The sound of them and the sound of the doors bursting open draws people from inside the house. And you can see Von Bin goes out on the balcony and follows shortly thereafter by his son. And Von Bin calls down to the troops coming in. What is the meaning of this? What are you doing? What are you doing in my room? These are my quarters. You've got... And you can hear someone shout from down below, Von Bin Ruby Eye. And a dwarf dressed in slightly fancier armor than what the rest of them are wearing. They're really indistinguishable from each other apart from the different black ice weapons. Gestures up, and Trevok comes running up next to him. He looks terrified. Von Bin still manages to maintain his composure, and the guy dressed in a slightly different armor holds his axe up, pointing at him. You have been found guilty of treason, Ruby Eye. You and all your kin, and all that belong to you, are now property of the Hammerstones. And he gestures to one side, and we see these troops start storming in, and we hear smashing and shouts from inside. And Von Bin just stands there glaring down at this guy and gripping the side of the balcony. And Trevok kind of looks panicked from his father to him, and he says, Father, what should we do? And we cut back to... Actually, no, we'll leave it there. We'll leave that with the Hammerstone troops storming the Ruby Eye Manor. Our heroes out to save Kola, and Kola... We'll see what he's done to his mother. So, guys, that'll be the end of the session. Let's see here. We are going to award some XP here. Was that, Dave?
The Astonishing Fortune? I don't think we
did.
did.
Yeah, I don't think you guys use any of your Astonishing Fortune at all. Which means you got lots to, yeah.
Can we bank it for next session?
Say again?
Can we bank it for next session?
You cannot bank it for next session, no. All right, here we go. Let's see here. So you got 5 points of Astonishing Fortune. You guys did... Let's see here. You've uncovered... Kola, you've uncovered... I'm going to give a flat extra 500 for great role-playing, guys, because you all did an excellent job of that. And you
did a really good job. Really good job.
Yeah. Definitely killed it today, Andrew. Well done. I know you're putting some very difficult spots there, too. And just see it...
We're not done with difficult spots, I see.
The great thing about this is none of this was preordained either. I just happened to roll. There was a chance of them uncovering, or someone uncovering your communication throughout, and there's a chance of who that might be, and it just worked out this way. That your mom was the one who uncovered it. At least you know your mom did. You're not certain whether anyone else did. So let's see here. We do that and that, and I think, is there anything else you guys achieved today? I don't think so. So, guys, high five. That is a whopping 150 XP, in addition to whatever your class-based bonuses are for today's session. Your bonus will, your XP bonus for a prime requisite will obviously apply to that as well. So, guys, that is a hell of a development. Out from the frying pan into the fire, as it were, for this. So, for those listening at home, yeah, 150.
Okay, plus the 500 flat. Okay.
Yeah, no, the 500, it's included in that. I divided amongst you guys.
Yeah.
500.
Oh, I see. Flat. Okay.
So 150 plus whatever spells you cast.
Yeah, 150 plus whatever spells you cast.
I understand now.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
including all the healing spells we did between days, I assume.
The healing spells you cast on screen, then you will get points for. The ones that were just done in the background, you weren't really at any threat
So I
there.
guess the two I did at the very beginning of the session.
Yes, I'll let you get XP for those.
Okay.
For those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for episode 17 of our Legacy of the Crystal Shard campaign. Boy, things are going from bad to worse in the Dwarven Valley. What is going on here? We'll see what's going on down here next Saturday as well with our next session. As always, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session or the campaign or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section of this video, and I will endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. In addition, you can reach me on Twitter at Dungeon Musings, and you can reach me by email. My email address is dungeonmusings@gmail.com. In addition, there's a link in the description of this video to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, and you are welcome to join us on there. That is, let's see here, that we have all of the players who are here are active on there, myself included. We have channels dedicated to this campaign, this game, as well as every other campaign we run on the channel, a bunch of other things, and things like setting up streaming, setting up the variable or various virtual tabletops that are available for playing online. There's a Find a Game channel. There's a places discussing assorted games as well too. So all sorts of different cool things to find on there, and you are welcome to join us on the server. In addition, there is there's not right now. There's a link to our Patreon page. As well as our Redbubble store, and a big thank you to everyone who is supporting us on Patreon and has picked up anything from the Redbubble store. You have helped us supply some of our players with copies of the Player's Handbook. So it is a great thank you to you to be able to say a special thank you to our players. John, Arlen, and Andrew have got the first batch of PHBs. Dave got his as a birthday present. Mo, yours is going to be coming next. I got the most recent one for Hobbs. Hobbs is getting his next. We only need 3 more, and then we will have all of our players in this campaign and in another campaign outfitted with them, and that's all possible to the generous support of our patrons and people putting up with ads in our content, and the support of people who buy stuff from our Redbubble shop. So thank you very much for that. Last but not least, speaking of our players, I want to give a big thank you to everyone who played today. So, and it is that you guys really did a great. This was a very chatty session, but like it felt like a very monumental one from the get-go. So really well done. Thank you so much for playing today, Andrew, Arlen, Mo, John, and Dave. That was a shit ton of fun.
That was a lot of fun. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
So many twists.
Yeah. Then, until next time, I'll say once again, thank you so much for joining us for this quarantine campaign. If you are listening to this live or contemporaneous to the recording, we hope that this finds you healthy, safe, and weathering the current crisis as well as can be expected. We hope that you've given you some time to take your mind off of the travails of this ever-burning world right now. And then we've given you a something else to keep you occupied while you're waiting to get back to a table yourself. Until next time, thank you so much again for watching, and